opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences. The following...
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. Welcome, guys. I want to say welcome to Bear. He's a special guest tonight. And then we got 6 Nations and 31 Kings. I'm glad he got to join us. And then we have Ruben. Thank you for being here, Ruben. And Bruce. Thank you, guys.
You know, this is a for me, actually.
We always have a lot of shit to talk about. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Only special in a short bus way, so.
Oh, sorry, 6 Nations. I talked over you. So what did you say?
That's okay. I was just saying that I think this is a first for me. You know, it's been how many months?
I don't know, but I've invited you a few times.
It's been forever. But this is the first time that I've been on, so yay. Normally I'm in the chats.
Well, I'm happy to have you, and we've already got a few people in here. Hello, Robert. Thank you for joining us. Hope we have a good show and we don't disappoint you. And hi, baby girl. Thank you so much.
Don't worry, we'll disappoint you.
And hi, Jackie Blue. I appreciate you a lot. And hello, grumpy old Ninja Kataro. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Nice to see you. Oh, hi, Jerry. Thank you for stopping in over on X. I appreciate it. So, saying hello to everybody. Hello, Robert. And
we have one more person, one more man. We have 5 guys. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Go.
I like this shirt. I stole it from my dad's house. So it's my new shirt. I like it a lot. But I wanted to start off with a few things that I thought were pretty interesting. But I wanted to do this little thing and see if you guys can figure this out. First, I want to play this. And it's a little video that I uploaded. So it's not a link or anything. It's just a video I wanted to play for you.
Dad, guess which is it? Is it NBA or NFL? 36 have been accused of spousal abuse. 7 have been arrested for fraud. 19 have been accused of writing bad checks. 117 have directly or indirectly been bankrupted at least 2 businesses. 3 have done time for assault. 71, I repeat, 71 cannot get a credit card due to their bad credit. 14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8 have been arrested for shoplifting. 21 currently are defendants in lawsuits, and 84 have been arrested for drunk driving in the last year. How many of you think NBA? How many of you think NFL? Well, the answer is neither. It's the 435 members of the United States Congress.
Pretty good stuff. I like that. I was able to download that. That was pretty interesting because a lot of people forget for some reason that these people are just people like us that ran for office. So nobody's perfect. But when you run for office, we expect you to do the best you can for the rest of us. And just not a good look. But here's another video that I found that I thought I'd play because it's a good perspective and it makes you think. So here we go.
Someone said, please tell me what it's like to be privileged. I said, okay, I'll tell you exactly what it's like to be privileged. Privilege is wearing a pair of $200 sneakers when you don't have a job. Privilege is wearing some beat headphones that cost $300 or so while you're living on government assistance. It's having a cell phone with a data plan that don't cost you nothing each month. It's living in public housing where the cost of rising taxes, rent, electricity, and things of that nature don't have no effect on the amount of food you put on the table each month. Privilege is marching or protesting against anything that triggers you, knowing that you don't have to call into work or pay for the consequences of such behavior. Privilege is being able to put the word black before anything and not be called a racist. Privilege is basically what you've been seeing on the news here lately. See, that's privilege to me because I'm white. And obviously, since I'm white, I can't say white before anything or I'm a racist. And it's privilege to me because I've always had to work my ass off since I was a kid to provide for my family.
was pretty good because it really made me think that people see me walking down the street, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, because of what I look like, they feel like I have privilege over them, or have more than I should deserve to have. And I don't do that to people. I don't look at people and just judge them just because of what they look like.
But you do have people
raised.
out there. But you do have people out there that are actually white who have mentally locked into the fact that they have privilege. They buy into it.
I know people that aren't white that feel they have privilege too. So
Correct.
It goes all directions. I just want people to think about it a little bit and try to realize that most of the people you walk by on the street, that you see in the grocery store, at the liquor store, or in a car next to you while you're waiting at a light, they're no different than you. They got to go to work. They got to pay their bills. They got to feed their families, and that kind of thing. So try to give other people the benefit of the doubt that they're just like you. They're tax-paying citizens, and they deserve respect. If you want respect, we have to start treating people with respect ourselves. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to play that. I just want people to think about it, because so many people are so. My mother used to say this: when you point your finger, how many fingers are pointing back at you? So my mother always told me. And
why you use a knife hand. Why you use a knife hand? Nothing pointing back.
Oh, mine are pointing off that direction.
That's right.
So,
Wrong.
yeah,
Is that wrong?
I don't know who points like this, but I tend to point like this. So I don't know.
Yeah, I point like that. I point, with my fingers, with one finger pointing. And that's what my mother always told us, to, try to treat people with respect. Until they treat you disrespectful, you should give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's why I point like this.
There's two ways I know I live in San Antonio. I use this a lot when I'm out in public, and people who know, like, they listen.
Make
make a hole. I can use that in a fucking store, and people part like the Red Sea.
Big hole.
Make a hole.
Is that a military thing? Because I know a few military guys, and they all
San Antonio, you got the bases there. That's where everyone knows that. Everyone has that mentality where you say those things, make a hole. They know what you're talking about. It's ingrained in the.
These two idiots
in Monterey
cereal aisle. I just want my chocolate granola. Get out of my fucking way, my chocolate granola. And the motherfuckers in my way. Oh, Tom, how you been? I haven't seen you since Tim left the soccer league. How's things going with the wife? Did you and her work things out? Make a hole! And they fucking get fucking PTSD and park to the side. And 30 seconds later, all right. So how's you're doing pretty good though, right? And I'm walking towards the cash register. Got my fucking chocolate granola. I'm good. I love San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio is nice. I may be going down to San Antonio and Laredo. The kid, my nephew is down right now. He's in Edinburgh, and I don't know if they got to find a cancer center down there for him. Jesus.
Last time I was there, I don't know. I went to KFC Hall, and some young girl was getting her quinceanera, and one of her older friends was trying to have me think about dating her, and I'm like, "Well, how old are you?" And she's like, "I'm 17." I'm like, "Yeah, that's enough."
Fuck.
Okay, I didn't realize the type of party I was going to. A friend of mine from the oil fields, like, man, I'd love it.
Dude, what are you involved in?
I was involved in the oil field.
Was it Epstein's oil business?
No. It was my buddy. His daughter was having a
like, if you're 25 years old, you're supposed to have 16 kids, and
like down there.
I know.
Fucked up.
The
culture of South Texas is fucked up because it is a border area. And you have this culture, which at age 15, they have a womanhood ceremony called the quinceanera. And I have no idea about this. I got no clue. I'm just going to the party because I heard I could drink there. So I'm going to grab a 12-pack of my beer. And they still sold Honey Brown at HEB. So we grab that, go over to fucking the KFC Hall. And like a bunch of girls in their princess outfits. I'm here looking like a schlup compared to this. I got the khaki cargo shorts. I've got a nice button-up collared shirt on, so I look like every other white yuppie from the Midwest. And I got my brown belt, and that's it. My giant chocolates. I love good sandals. and I'm there and I'm drinking. I'm like, man, this is kind of a weird party. And like, as soon as the girls start dancing out there, like 3 of them come up to me. And I'm like looking at my buddy Raphael, help. He's like, go ahead, talk to him. I'm like, I'm 37. This doesn't look right. He's like, no, it's normal down here. And I'm like, what? And he's like, Cynthia's the oldest. And I'm like, I'll talk to you. Sure. What's your story? You know, and we start talking. She's like, I want to go dance. I'm like, fine. Put the beer down, go dance, have fun. Come back. And she's like, no, I want to talk to you more. My mom and dad are over here. And I'm like, how old are you? And she's like, well, I'm 17. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Let me go apologize.
I disavow, Bruce.
And let me go apologize to your dad. Her dad was cool. He's like, oh, that's cool, man. You're not from here? No, I'm from Central Illinois. He's like, you have no idea what this is, do you? I said, no. He's like, we bring our daughters to these things to try to hook them up. A lot of times it's with guys between the ages of like 25 and 35. You're right in that top edge there. You'd be perfect. I'm like, no. And the father's trying to get me to date his daughter. The father and I are almost the same age. In fact, he's just a little younger. And I'm like, no. So, like, that just hurt my head a little bit. But down there, it is normal for like a 16 or 17-year-old girl to be dating a 30-year-old guy in the oil field. And next thing you know, she goes to his place, pretties it up, makes it nice. And her entire job in life is to get married to him, have fucking hot food on the table when he gets home, and be ready to fuck and make more kids.
And take her to the yard.
He's the yard. So all the bitching that you hear about Ruben whenever he says he hates Laredo, there's kind of a basis of actual factual existence of that. Like they don't give a fuck about the schooling. Once my daughter turns 15, she has her quinceanera. She's ready for her husband and to start a family.
Yeah, Laredo is really, really oof.
Well,
it's
I guess
you know how Deliverance gave people
goosebumps
and made people think of when you hear the banjo, dueling banjos, you get that fear. I hear that when I hear mariachi music because that's how it is. It's very they treat women very, very objectified. Yeah. Very. Yeah, that's why
I don't like it. I wouldn't want my daughter to go there, but I have something I wanted to share. I thought was kind of funny. It's amazing talent that you couldn't even put it in a job description, really. I don't think, but I think it's awesome. And I can't remember the actor's name, but he was in that movie. What was it? Airplane? Is that what you said, Bruce?
Talking about Liam Neeson's new movie?
No, the guy that makes the sound effects.
Police
Academy.
Michael Winslow.
This guy right here. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he is phenomenal. Oh my god! Just listen. The only people making noise is this gentleman and this guy playing a guitar. That's all that there is. Everything you hear is coming from this gentleman. Listen to this. It's amazing.
Guy's face.
freaking awesome.
I'm impressed. That's all I'm going to
I
say.
cannot believe that a person can do that. That is just amazing. And he's so freaking talented. I remember when he was in that one movie and he did sound effects and stuff. And I was like, I thought that was cool. But to sit and watch him like that, I mean, what would you even put that under? What is that? What would you name that? Or call it?
Talent.
Yeah, but I
Talent
mean,
on loan from God.
I don't know. I just thought it was so cool when I saw that come across my timeline. I'm like, that is fucking awesome. I'd pay to go see this guy up on stage. Is that what he does? It's like a comedian, but not a comedian.
He's a comedian, but he throws sound effects in his comedic spots whenever he does a stand-up routine. So you're getting a full package with him.
It's amazing. Oh, here, I didn't see this. I'm sorry. I'm proud of you for that, Jerry. That's great. I try to do the same thing because that's what my mother would want.
For those of you that are here, appreciate you all being here with us tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. Oh, that's right. He was in Police Academy. That's what it was. I was making sure I got it right. But yeah, it was. But man, that was just so good. So much talent in one person. And it's just amazing. And I hope one day that we get back to that, that we will let people like that would do that type of thing. And probably in school, if we had a kid now that was wanting to do those things in school, they'd probably say, oh, he's got ADD. We need to give him some meds, you know.
What about people who basically will say that that's AI and immediately dismiss it? The same people that believe the moon landing didn't happen, or it's beatboxing. But the whole idea, the fact that you have people now that actually kids and young adults who don't realize how hard things really can be without the things you have in place, like our cell phones we have now. The one thing that we have lost is the ability to know all of the most important phone numbers in your life. Because you don't need to remember your phone numbers anymore. You have them written down inside on your phone or on your whatever. You don't need to remember them. And people are now like, they now have calculators in there, and they have answers in the pocket. So why do they need to do certain things anymore? Or why do they retain any knowledge? So you have to, but you have to instill these things continuing on. So that is why you have to fight back against those who say it's just AI. It's not. Be creative. Have the creativity out there, and you see a lot. I've been watching Danelle's as she's watching TikTok and Instagram. A lot of people out there are doing stuff like doing cooking videos, showing what their talents, having fun, and they're going. That's the thing. Yeah, we want to have people have fun, but not in a Pollyannish way. But in a productive way. Go ahead.
Okay,
it's all well and good to say we're losing skills and all that. Yeah, you don't know how to make your own clothes anymore either, right?
Right.
And you don't know how to, lay bricks, and you don't know how to plow a field. And technology evolves, and the human condition evolves with it. We must resist the urge to be French workers throwing our wooden shoes into the machinery because it's threatening us. It's taking away our way of life.
Right.
Mitchell and Webb did a fantastic sketch about the transition from flint to copper, and watching their bronze and the primitive village, and I was a flint man and my father was a flint man and his father, and then but if you've seen bronze, it's really great, and like this whole idea that if we just stick in and say, hey, I don't want this new stuff, great, but don't criticize people who do. Don't say they're losing something because they're developing skills you might not have.
Right.
And in 10 years, the world will move to a point where you can't function anymore. And I had that benefit, Gen X, most of us in Gen X had that, of having to teach our parents how to use computers.
Right.
Or teaching our parents how to surf the web. Or programming the bloody VCR for our parents and stuff like that. We had a skill they didn't have, as the technology was part of their life. Well, sad news, folks, we're at that age now. We're the ones, And fortunately, we don't need them to program our VCR because we figured out how to use the new technology as a general thing. So we got to be really, really careful because it's very easy to get swept into that sort of mentality without understanding that it doesn't matter what you think. Society's going to go where it goes. Technology is going to go where it goes, and the world is going to change the way it changes. So you're either with the wave, or you're left behind, or you're drowned.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do appreciate. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but now if you have skills that people don't have anymore, that's great to have those skills and share them and get them out there as much as possible. And I respect all the people doing YouTube videos on how to change, spark plugs and stuff like that. That's great. We need that knowledge, but doesn't mean the new knowledge doesn't have value and merit as well.
True.
Well, see, that's one reason why I loved New Orleans so much. Okay. New Orleans was a bustling city. Okay, had lots of people from so many different cultures, so many different stores and shops and restaurants and venues that played all types of music. They had street actors, performers. I mean, just juggling acts. I mean, just anything you could think of, you could find it in New Orleans. And the other thing that was really cool is people like me. I would sew T-shirts into bags. I could crochet. I made quilts. I did all kinds of things. And it was other artists that would make all kinds of cool stuff. And we were allowed to take it down to the quarter and sell it, and not have to pay taxes on it. Because what we did was we caused people to want to go to the quarter and buy things and spend their money in our beautiful town. And it was wonderful because I met so many people. And we shared each other's ideas of things that we would make. We had face painters. I mean, we'd had everything, all kinds of sculptors, so much diversity in one little city. And as long as we have those types of places, you're going to have people that can stay active. I don't care what, and I didn't hardly see anybody walking around on their phones. People were involved in looking at what was going on around them because it was bustling and had so many people and things to do. We had, swamp tours. We had, cemetery tours. We had, we could ride segways around the city. I mean, it was just had so much stuff. And that's what's important is to try to keep things like that alive in people and encourage your child. If your child wants to color pictures, hang them on the refrigerator, hang them on the walls. If they sew or make something for you, display it like it's
they do that now where if I have kids, I want to basically get a wall in their room and make it like a chalkboard. Right? Do that now, or just live life, man. Fuck it. Again, if you're gonna have
let them all be kids and
I just want to address something grumpy old Ninja Kentaro said. If the electric grid goes down, cities will burn in hours. Rural folk. I'm from the country. I grew up in a very small rural town. And I also live in a big city of 3.5-4 million people. And look up the Montreal ice storm from the 90s. We didn't have power for almost 2 weeks, and the city did not burn. In fact, the city came together, and people were helping each other out. And there was one radio station that was still on the air, and they were announcing places where people could get food, people could get help, and they were keeping the community connected. This idea that civilization will collapse because urban people are horrible, absolute poppycock. Absolute poppycock. Humans, community. Humans always move to community. We are a communal creature. People love to sit around and say, my spirit animal is a wolf. My spirit animal is an eagle. I'm a bear. No, we're sheep. We're a herd animal. We're cattle. We group together for safety, security, and survival, and it is the natural default setting. Yes, there are pieces of shit in the world. Absolutely. And there are people who will try and profit off these things, but there are also people who will stand against them and protect.
But do you think that sheepleness that I believe you are correct to a certain extent? Do you think that has been quote unquote bred in by the institutions we've had? I think they have. I think that's
natural human condition. It's what allowed us to become the dominant life form on this planet, was our ability to cooperate and work together as a collective, as a herd. It's what makes us good at that. Just like with the wolves, the lone humans don't survive, or at least once upon a time they didn't before we had the modern amenities we have now. A lot of them would just go off and die. Getting banished from your village was a horrible thing.
Well,
Getting
yeah,
kicked
yeah.
out of your clan or your tribe was pretty much a death sentence for most people.
True.
We are a collective creature. We like to think we're not. We like to think we're above that. We like to idealize ourselves. But at the end of the day, we are a herd animal, and we tend towards community.
But I've
That's
never been that way.
where,
I have never been that way.
Black sheep
That's
came
okay.
from.
You be
I'm
you.
an outlier. I'm an outlier, I guess. No, because again, I was talking to Danelle and I'm talking to a few other people in the past. And they say, "What's your favorite memory from childhood? Who your childhood friends? What do you remember that?" And I'm going, "I didn't have any childhood friends. What are you talking about? There was nobody. I just stayed by myself. There was no one I talked to. I couldn't understand anybody growing up."
Okay, but that's not a judgment on humanity. You are not the bailiwick by which we will measure the human race.
Right.
Right.
I myself couldn't understand when people did what you did, the herd mentality. Like, okay, everyone get up and do this. Everyone sit down. And I saw this and going, no, I did not do that. I said, no.
Why that's not the herd mentality. You're misinterpreting domination and control with herd mentality. They're two separate beasts. Domination and control is how you control masses. That's what you're talking about. Everyone sit down. Everyone stand up. Pray now. Do this. Do that. That's dominance. That's being controlled.
So give me an idea of herd. So that's not herd. My herd. I think that's herd to me. What are your?
Good example of herd. So I don't have a lot of positive ones because I spent most of my adult life working in protection services and violent fields.
Okay.
But for example, a club I'm working in Vancouver in the 90s, we have a shooting. The herd reacted to the shooting. There wasn't 5 people wandered over and looked over there, and then 2 people did like a collective mass of humanity. They got as far away from the trouble as they could at one moment. Yeah, the herd.
Yeah, I call it the
mob. Is different. Mob is something that has a purpose or a direction or is pushed for something, like a mob uprising, a mob what have you. This is herd behavior.
I get it. So when that has happened before, when that happens, I see the idiots, the fucking retarded people, the sheep run, and I just stand there. What the fuck are you all doing?
And you're the guy who gets shot.
I know. I'm the guy that survives. I'm the guy that wins. No, I'm the guy that wins.
My father taught me this at a very young age. He said, when you are standing on the street and you see 20 people running in a direction, don't look to what they're running from. Run.
No.
Yeah, then you're the person that gets eaten by the monster.
No, I'm not. I've never been that way. I'm the one that how would you say it? There's a better way to describe it. I already know why they're running because it's yes. I see what's
really?
Gonna.
You're prescient. You can see.
I see what happens. It's going to happen before it happens.
Okay.
In every instance, when there's a crisis is happening, I'm the one saying, "Holy shit, guys, this is going to happen," and I say it, and then they say no, and when it happens, they freak out, and I'm there going, "I don't care, fuck you, I don't," and I did started at a very young age. It's happened. It started. It was like, my God, I was 5 or 7. I didn't understand what was going on. I just cut myself off. I said, I'm not dealing with retarded people. I'm not.
Again, you're talking about a social thing. I'm talking about crisis behavior.
Yeah.
When you're standing there getting your coat from the coat check and bullets start flying, you don't have time to go, well, I knew that was going to happen. You're suddenly having bullets hit the wood around you and splinters hit you and people freaking out.
Right. I know. I get it.
Okay?
I get it. It's a semantic thing. It's a semantic argument.
We will protect each other as well. That is why you will see people stand in front of people. That is why things like firefighters who will go into danger to save people. We are a herd community species.
Well, here is the next thing I wanted to talk about. I thought was so cool because I think everyone in this on here tonight on this panel have seen the movie The Thing, right, with Kurt Russell.
Oh, great movie.
And this was the first time that Keith and Kurt have seen each other in 4 decades. And I thought it was really cool to see them two meet up.
It's been since then, but they've not hung out.
No, I know, but this is them seeing and reacting to each other. So I thought it was really cool because we did The Thing not very long ago, you and I. for our review. So
3 years ago.
Missed opportunity.
How are you, man? Oh, this is a long week. You look terrific. I'm we're all,
it's just amazing how much time goes by and how much we change. We change so much, and
Yeah, but those two actors, I remember.
Do what?
He did get a star, didn't he?
Yeah, John Carpenter. He had the best thing in his speech. He said, "Thank you for giving me this on a street now where people and animals can piss on my name." I admire that guy.
Birds shitting on him or whatever.
I
just thought it was so good.
Montreal.
I love that movie.
Well, do you remember the movie Vampires that he made? He premiered it at Fantasia here in Montreal. Yeah, well, okay, we're not getting to debate the quality. I'm just telling you John Carpenter's story, man.
No, I love that movie.
I never read the books. Movie. I hear people who read the books didn't like it, but whatever. The point is
he obviously is better. But
okay, I'll shut up. Go ahead, man.
I've said my piece.
Okay, well, I'm just going to move on. I'm good.
Okay, well, the next thing I wanted to present was this guy that I thought was his point of view from 3 generations of his family on what's going on with the discoveries of all the crime and the corruption that's being unveiled since Trump has stepped in office. And I thought it was I don't know. It was very touching and moving. And I'm sure that there's plenty of us that feel the same way when you start to find out about things and that everything you thought was true is wrong and not real. So here we go. I'm going to share this.
Trying to find the right word of how I feel about what's going on, the revelation of all this stuff that's going on as far as the money that's being exposed that has been sent and how they have abused the system and the corruption and everything like that. And the best word I can come up with as a 67-year-old United States citizen born in St. Joseph's Hospital of Orange, California, 1957, long time ago. And my dad fought in that Second World War, and my grandfather fought in the First World War, and my brother was in the service during Nam. He didn't go to Nam. I have a nephew that's in the Army right now. The betrayal that I feel for that's the word. It's betrayal. It's betrayal. That's the word that I'm feeling. I'm feeling like the country that I grew up in and that I supported with a waving of a flag and a singing of a song and with all this emotion and all this grit has betrayed me, but not just me, every single person who's ever been born in this country. We've all been betrayed, and yet watch the people who want to keep the betrayal going. That is what tears me up and makes me more angry, is that you've used me. You used my grandfather, my dad. Since we got here in 1638, my family's been here a long time. And every single conflict that we've been in, my family is part of it. Either as an officer or an infantry guy or a chaplain or somebody, we got a book that's really thick that expresses our history. Every one of those people are betrayed. Today, we're all betrayed by this corrupt government that is now being exposed, but by God, and I'm not cursing, I'm just saying, by God, may the betrayal be vindicated. That's all I'm saying. May the betrayal be vindicated.
So this is another person who is made me think about when I first started hearing that the Doge was coming out and that people are going to be shot. A lot of people are going to be overwhelmed, not be able to deal with the things that are going to be coming out during this 4 years, because they were going to reveal so much stuff. And to me, this is one of the first things that I thought about when I saw this man's reaction, because he feels like it's been happening since his great grandfather was alive. So, and it probably has. I mean, if you go back and look at some of the things that maybe that his dad and his grandpa were involved in the military, and maybe something he was involved in. And each of us are finding out little things that our governments have tried to keep secret. And the fact that they're doing it with money that we worked our asses off for, to find out that they're giving it to everybody and their brother, except for the people or the place that we all thought it was going to go to. And we're going to see more of this. I really do believe that we're going to see more and more people, whether it's on TV or even on an app, or people that you just simply talk to and meet somewhere, that are just having a really hard time dealing with ever getting over the fact that they can't trust anyone anymore. I'm still in the same thing when it comes to medicine. When stuff started happening and I started seeing things coming out, when I moved, and then I moved back, and I went back and forth from Arkansas to Louisiana, I tried to keep my same doctors and stuff, because I don't have faith in doctors. And I don't know if I ever will after everything that's happened. Yeah. So it's not just me. I'm seeing it happening more and more with other people. So I just hope that we're able to help people.
But you remember how for a time there was the joke was that like Law and Order SVU was mimicking real life stories. Mm-hmm. There are shows do match what's going on. Mm-hmm. So if they start to press about, the situation and start to dramatize it and say that it's an occurring theme, it could, psychologically affect people, in a way, I think, mm-hmm. to start to like lash out, because you had all those shootings. You had the shooting, the guy that was they gunned down the guy from PayPal, Cash App guy. Yeah. The bombing for the Elon's, the Tesla and the Trump, the tower, the United CEO
guy, right?
Yeah, the insurance guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is this going to? And I've seen a lot of videos in the same vein, where you have people who are basically, you have people who are just like, 20, 26, 27, they're out of college for the first time. Mm-hmm. They have debt now. And now they're seeing their paychecks going, where's all those going? And they're trying to cope, and they pay rent. They have their this, they can't get a mortgage. And then you have people who are complaining. Like, people are now at their breaking point. And my fear is that the algorithm's going to feed people to see pissed off about the world, and it's going to spark, people are going to do self-harm, and it's just all part of an insidious plot. I think, bullshit. People kind of like, find their inner peace and just not be inundated with this. That's why the TikTok ban, right or wrong, put away the social media. You got to go out and touch some grass. You got to get out.
All I know is that in America, we've had our medical system shutting down all the mental institutions,
right,
and closing up places where people could go and get counseling. Our veterans, some of them are committing suicide while waiting a year to get into the psychiatrist, stuff like that, which is wrong. Okay, and any of the money that we're saving, I'm hoping we're going to start seeing how we can use it to put it back into the system to start helping some of these people.
Yeah, for me, like an idea.
Closed down our churches because of COVID, but they left the strip bars and the liquor stores open. And I don't know if they did that in Canada or not, but it was off balance.
Did they do that?
Did they close your liquor stores and stuff like that, or did they leave them open?
Closed everything,
even the strip joints.
Bars weren't allowed to be open.
Oh shit! Well, then here it was
Restaurants
the
weren't allowed to
opposite.
be open. Bars weren't allowed to be open. Gyms weren't allowed to be open. Theaters weren't allowed. Nothing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
here,
see, and that's
here,
what
here
I
it was the big
know.
box
The
stores and
grocery
the strip
stores were
clubs
allowed to
and
be
the, and the
open.
yeah.
And we had
Anything-
delivery services, so we could actually get our groceries delivered to us.
Yeah, they started doing that here too. But the thing is, it shut people out from the everyday
Social.
camaraderie that you could have.
Yeah, what?
You know?
Let's go to the mall. That's gone. No one goes to the mall anymore.
Couldn't
It's
go
all
to the
gone.
park. You couldn't do a lot of things anymore. So many people I knew were divorced during this time
Yep.
because
yep.
they couldn't stand staying in the same room together.
I
That's
just
really
miss
bad, but
I
But
miss
again-
pre-COVID. I
But
miss the
isn't-
pre-COVID world. I want the world to go back to 24-hour McDonald's
But
and
wouldn't you-
Walmart. I need the ability to go and pick up pepperoni at 3 a.m. when I'm making pizza. I
Mhm.
need the world to get back on its feet.
Well, but in order for the world to get back on its feet, I think the world has to realize what we got fucked in the mind. Everybody, we all mind fucked ourselves through the pandemic. We did it to ourselves. That's the thing. We have to realize that. So it's not a question of forgive or forget, because again, there were some people that are still out there that are profiting off of this, doing things that are insidious. We have to get that done. But those people that are hurting need to be addressed. And you're right. Not social work, but community work. I'm blessed enough now that I worked hard. I haven't disabled right now. I'm still fighting it. I have my money coming in now, thank God. And I'm still say thank God. I thank God every day, because again, I'm still alive. And I go again, as a widower and having some love in my life again, and then basically then to have my brother with his troubles. But then when you have people calling me today and asking for prayer, we want to say prayers for your nephew in our prayer services tonight across the United States, and I go, yes, definitely. So that's the thing. You reach out, you do this stuff. It's important. So that's why whenever we get a chance, that's why we do the shit show. We complain about shit. We laugh about it. We have to stay more happy, and we have to basically to that guy. And I know people that are out there who are suffering, who are complaining that things are going bad. Reach out to somebody be a sympathetic ear, and I'm pledging to do that. You gotta start living life that way. You gotta think more positively, have more fun.
yeah, and also it's the a lot of people are finally, that I'm starting to see, that are willing to talk about some of the things how it affected them.
Yeah,
because for a little while there, they wouldn't even speak about it. But it's the fact that people are now starting to feel like, okay, I can talk about this now because I'm not going to have my house burnt down. Not because they didn't want to talk about it, but because they were in fear of saying anything negative about what happened or how they were treated, because they were in fear of backlash. So I'm happy to start seeing people that feel like, because see, I got in a lot of trouble. I got in trouble because I always spoke out against it.
Right.
So, I lost lots of jobs. I lost lots of money that I could have made simply because I said, this is bullshit. I can't believe you're forcing me to have to do this or do that and not let me do this simply because I didn't get a shot against my will. I just thought it was wrong. And it's balancing out again. We went through a bottleneck and now it's starting to balance out. But I hope people that went through this learn from it and they won't let that happen to them again. Right. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they survive, through whatever turmoil they might have went through. And hopefully we learn from it. And that's the whole thing. It's like what we were talking about earlier, is that, I said, well, it sounds like you got common sense.
But the thing is that
most people don't have it. It's like a superpower now.
Yeah. But the thing is that the way I say it, that wraps it all up, is this all happened to 8 billion people. people suffered, they profited, suffered, died, resurrected. I'm coming back. But the one thing that we all have here is that we discovered each other. We didn't know each other before. Who knows what would have happened? Because we couldn't, right when we were all disconnected, we said we had Skype, then had Zoom, then you had StreamYards, then you had YouTube. Then we started talking to each other and all this stuff. And it's like out of the woodwork because you couldn't go anywhere. You're stuck in your house. And then when we didn't meet, we met. But again, that's the thing. We have different opinions on a lot of things and we come together, but we help each other out. That's the whole thing. That's what we have to start doing. That's why we do the shit show. It's have fun. And
that's one reason why I wanted to start the shit show is because I wanted to give people the understanding that there's other people that feel just like us, that just because I have a different point of view than maybe the mainstream, it doesn't mean there isn't anyone else like me. And sometimes this is the only way I find out anything. But I thought this was interesting. This is an interview with one of the astronauts that were stranded in space for 9 months.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And this is an actual interview with them about being rescued and what they think about Trump and Elon Musk. So I thought this was a pretty good thing because I don't know if everybody has heard it. I'll make sure it's turned up and everything.
What would you like to say to President Trump and Elon Musk?
I respect you. I trust you. You've given me no reason not to trust you, either one of them. What they say, I can't say what they say. I haven't lived that. But I have no reason not to believe anything they say because they've earned my trust. And for that, I am grateful that our national leaders actually are coming in and taking part in our human spaceflight program, which we see is hugely important global significance. And they take an active role. And based on the past and what we see now, with them doing that, it's refreshing, not just refreshing, it's empowering, it's strengthening for our nation. I think it's a good thing for our nation when the national leaders, especially something that's high visibility, are involved in the process. Yes, and I'm grateful for that.
What would here's something you should all remember too. This guy here is a test pilot. So what you have here is you had competing SpaceX, the Blue Origin, you had SpaceX, and you had the Boeing. This is the Boeing version, all competing to do certain things, launch their rockets, first flight, do certain things. So this is one of their tests. One of their tests was to go up there and fly and then come back. Then they had this incident because Boeing's been having a lot of fucking problems the last couple of years. So what's going on there? New stuff, corporate stupidity, right? Because again, there's another story there. McDonnell Douglas, that they bought them out and then they took all the bullshit there. Learn about corporate greed and all that bullshit later. But the point being here is he is a test pilot, and these people, the lady too, got deformed because she was up in space so long and she wasn't supposed to be that long. It was only for a short test flight. So political or not, he's somebody, his mentality is he wants to improve space flight. And his mentality was, I'm going to volunteer to be a test pilot. And he did that. And so then you're looking at somebody who's gung-ho for America, gung-ho for exploration, and wants to be an adventurer and gets things done. So when he says that he's putting his trust in Trump and Elon, it's genuine, it's wholesome. And and again, but people misinterpret it because they don't understand who this guy is.
Uh-oh.
No, he's a test pilot. It's different.
Well, the thing that a lot of people don't realize is too, the problems that they're having with their physical body is the fact that it's hard to exercise and actually use your muscles and stuff when you're floating around in space and you're weightless. And that hurts your bones. It can cause all kinds of problems with your joints and your muscles and things like that. And for them to be stranded up there that long and to take, our president basically asking Elon Musk to please save these people and for them to go through with it and do it is great. I mean, the fact that they had that opportunity, because we had an administration apparently before that could care less about whether they're there or not. I mean, and our victims that were in other countries too, that were prisoners in other countries. they didn't seem to care about policy or anything like that, or standing up for Americans. You know what I mean? So a lot of those things, it's nice to see an administration that actually seems like, at least by their actions, that they do care about what's going on in our country and what's happening with our people. So I thought that was a really good little tidbit to bring up. Does anybody else want to chime in on his interview? Good.
I'm kind of.
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah.
What did you say?
8 days or something there.
Yeah.
They're out there for 9 months.
Uh-huh.
Like that takes a serious toll on the body, and it
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of back in the 80s when we had the Challenger accident, and I was in grade school. I think it was like 4th grade or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear that we had 2 astronauts stuck up there made me think back to that disaster. And I'm thinking, okay, well, we've got better technology now. Hopefully they'll be safe. And then it just kept dragging on and on and on. And it was ridiculous. Like, I know that there's a lot of complications and you got to be spot on with your mathematics to even send something out into space, because like the smallest debris could take out that entire space station. And to see them up there, they're trying to occupy time. They're doing their experiments while they're waiting. And down here we have all this political BS, and it's like, why couldn't we fast track some technology or something, or use some previously existing technology, or ask another country to give us a hand? But then, you got the politics and all the other BS. It just left a sour taste in my mouth. I know they were stuck up there.
Well, Bruce, you want to say anything about it?
Just earlier this week, I had read something about William Shatner.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a conversation with Elon Musk. And it looked kind of interesting. I'm going to see if I can pull it up, and that way I'm not.
Yeah, because he flew on Blue Origin, so he's.
Are you talking about the Mars thing?
Go ahead, sir.
What are you talking about with Shatner? The Mars thing?
Yeah, Shatner's talking about going to Mars.
It was an April Fool's prank, dude.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was April 1st.
I thought it was
April 1st. Yeah.
My bad.
That was a prank. That was April 1st.
Never mind.
It's all right. I thought it was something different, so I was like, okay, well maybe.
I thought it was different too. I thought you were going to say different first. And then I thought about him flying in the rocket. Not the Mars thing. Yeah, the Mars thing was a joke.
Well, this next thing I think is pretty good because Trump was talking about it. Happy Liberation Day, America, and I wanted to talk about this a little bit and listen to what they have to say, because I have a couple little things that go together with this, and I just thought it would be something important that we need to definitely play. So
with his America First agenda.
Breaking news, Apple announced it's going to work with Foxconn to build a server factory in Texas by 2026.
The company says it is now planning to invest $500 billion in the U.S. economy.
The CEO of SoftBank pledging to invest $100 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
This is President Trump delivering on the promise he made to the American people on the campaign trail.
The idea is come to America, build greatness in America, build for American customers.
Project Stargate. It's a joint venture between SoftBank, Oracle, and OpenAI, and they're going to create a data center that will eventually be expanded to other states.
Shows people are listening to Mr. Trump's pitch to bring new industry to America. This is the latest pledge from a foreign business leader promising to spend big in the U.S. as a result of Trump's election victory.
Founder of the property development company DeMac Properties is pledging the money.
President Trump announcing $100 billion investment from Taiwan Semiconductor, bringing the company's total American investments to $165 billion.
The most powerful AI chips in the world will be made right here in America.
Things happen so quickly in the Trump world, right? It's 100 days. It feels like it's 100 months. This is leadership This is taking control of the problem for military, for everything, for industrial, for our economy. Even if it causes short-term pain, the reality is it is the right decision.
NVIDIA says it will invest hundreds of billions of dollars over the next 4 years, part of the manufacturing renaissance under President Donald J. Trump.
Furniture maker Prepack are shifting their operations from Canada to North Carolina.
Johnson & Johnson says it will invest more than $55 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
Hyundai announced a $20 billion investment.
With your leadership, Mr. President, Hyundai Motor Group is proud to be a stronger partner in America's industrial future.
It is the automobile industry. Now those plants largely have stopped and they're moving them to our country. Honda is building one of the biggest plants.
The trade story is certainly picking up speed here and pushing more countries to make these bigger investments. It's another example of the Trump effect.
GE Aerospace announcing a nearly $1 billion investment into American manufacturing.
Eli Lilly announcing plans to expand its manufacturing here in the United States.
$27 billion additional spend, bringing our total to more than $50 billion.
The money's rolling in, and this is in the past 60 some odd days, Charles.
These are deep-pocketed folks who want to have a relationship, and it's just smart moves.
We are CLA CGM, one of the leaders in shipping and logistics around the world. Today, we are investing $20 billion.
Foreign leaders from around the world, investors from Silicon Valley to Wall Street to Main Street have confidence again in our economy and our markets and in President Trump.
The Trump effect this morning, a string of massive wins for American manufacturing. The numbers speak for themselves. Wisconsin-based Clarios is putting up $6 billion to expand its American operation. And what's driving these decisions? Well, President Trump's aggressive Made in America policies and his commitment to bringing industry back to American soil. This is exactly what Trump promised. America First is back.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good little tidbit of information about some of the things that's happened since Trump has announced some of the choices he was going to make and try to go for, and all the different companies that have decided to bring back jobs back to America and start making it here again. Yep. And I've been saying for many years, since the start of the shit show, was one of the things is we should be self-efficient. You know, we shouldn't, there's no reason we should rely on China for any medicine or anything that could cause an American citizen to die. You know what I mean? I just, like an EpiPen, I have to have one. I could die if I get stung by a bee. And when an EpiPen cost me $300 out of my pocket, and I'm not, really, really poor or anything like that, but that's still a lot of money to have to get one of those every year. And that's ridiculous to me, the fact that an EpiPen could cost me $300, and that's with my insurance, so how much are they making off of these, that type of thing.
It's
so
grand that they for.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Jumped up. The scam that they were using to bump up EpiPens to $2,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like $300 isn't something to laugh about. That's a good chunk of change for average show.
But the thing is, for someone's life, and there's other people that are diabetics and other diseases where these people have to have this medicine, and there's no reason why we should be at the whim of another country to say, well, we're not going to give you this medicine. We're not going to give you this until you do this for us. And I think, we should be able to take care of ourselves. Go ahead, Bear.
You're not at the whim of another country. You're at the whim of the pharmaceutical corporations. Do not mistake those two things. Those companies go to places like China and Guatemala and Bangladesh and all that because they're stuck with this thing called fiscal responsibility, which should be outlawed. It should be destroyed. It should be made illegal. And it forces them to have to constantly cut their expenses to generate more profit for their investors. And if they make 1 penny less than they did last quarter, a whole bunch of their people start selling off stock, which can trigger a panic and collapse the company. So that is the problem. Not China, not Guatemala.
Well, then how come somebody, a relative of mine, can go to Mexico and get the exact same medicine?
Because they price for the market they're in. because they price for the market they're in. We pay less in Canada because the government subsidizes it.
Right.
Your government chooses not to subsidize it. So as a result, they charge whatever they can. They can charge market rate down there and get away with it. It's the same reason dentistry is so damn expensive now. When I was in my 20s, getting your tooth fixed cost $25-$30. Now it's $900. Why? Because everybody has dental insurance through their work now. So as a result of that, the dentists go, well, we can charge whatever the fuck we want because the insurance companies are going to pay.
Oh, that's horrible.
So the medical system is completely asinine, and it's held by two groups: pharmaceutical corporations, insurance companies. They are the cause of all your woes, not China, not Mexico. Those assholes. Now, I'm not saying shoot them in the streets because that's fucking horrific.
Yeah.
But find legal ways to neuter them.
Right. Anyway, guys, I
hopefully
gotta
we
go.
can do that. So thank you for joining us, Ruben. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
And
yes.
do you have anything you would like to say about your channel before you leave?
Yeah, basically, I'm currently on hiatus per se because I've been, dealing with a lot of personal things that I had to get through, good and bad. But the most important thing we want to keep faith is for my nephew, Nick Gabriel Haynes, currently he has leukemia, going under treatment. He's only, 8 years old. So let's prayers for him. Make sure he's okay. Yeah, and then the same. Yeah, thank you, Bear. His father just had a brain tumor last October, so it's like it rains and pours in that family. But we're strong. We're a good family. We're gonna get it done. So the family's running around there in South Texas right now. So they had a fundraiser tonight. Went pretty well. So we'll see what's going on here. But it's been off and on. I may go down there for a bit, but we'll see what happens. But keep everyone in prayers. And I'll keep everyone updated on my X account, what's going on here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope everything works out for you and you have a great weekend.
Yes. Take care, guys. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bye. Bye.
See you later.
So about all this manufacturing coming back to the U.S. to avoid tariffs, do you guys honestly think this is going to reduce prices?
I don't know. This isn't something that I know that much about. I have to have faith in the person I put in office.
The person you put in office, you got to understand, is not taking one thing into consideration. I build, let's say, stereos, and I build them in Mexico, and I'm paying my workers in Mexico $1.50 an hour, and then I'm selling that stereo to you for $300, $500, $500, we'll say. I'm making shit tons of money. Oh, now to avoid those tariffs, or to look good and get whatever I got, I'm going to bring that manufacturing to America. Well, I can't pay Americans $1.50 an hour to build those stereos. They're probably going to have a union. There's going to be a minimum wage. So I'm looking at $15 to $25 an hour to build those stereos. Guess who I'm passing those savings on to? The end person. The person at the end who buys the product. So what we're seeing is, and we see this in Canada, and people in Canada finally started to get their fucking brains around it, which is having more money doesn't bring things down in price. Being paid more doesn't reduce anything. It just means the cost of living eventually matches what you're paid, and then we're here again. And now we want the price to go, okay, my payment's up here now, and everything gets more expensive, and now we're back to here again. And it's this vicious cycle that just does not end. And it goes back to what I said earlier about corporate fiscal responsibility. That is what drives that, the maximize profit mentality of corporatism. I am a capitalist. I believe in capitalism. I am an anti-corporatist. I think corporatism is the worst it is the dark end of capitalism, is corporatism. So we might have more jobs. We might get all these great, you guys, we're losing them in Canada because of this. It's going to be great, but don't think this is a magic bullet, because it's not.
Okay, well, here was something else I found that I thought would help explain some of it, because 2 or 3 people recommended that I play this. So let me get it here real quick, if I can find it. Oh, come on. It's number 17. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I got it. All right. It's Tariffs Explained Perfectly. So here we go. See how it sounds. What do you guys think?
It's important to remember that tariffs aren't just tools for trade wars. They're a key part of economic independence. Before income tax was introduced in 1913, tariffs were the main source of revenue for the U.S. government. This allowed the country to fund itself and grow without directly taxing citizens. Tariffs protect American workers and industries from being undercut by low-cost, lower-quality foreign goods, allowing American businesses to compete and thrive. By levying tariffs, we maintain jobs and encourage domestic production, both crucial for national security and prosperity. Tariffs also help the U.S. negotiate better trade deals, pushing other countries to lower their trade barriers in exchange. So, who would oppose tariffs? Globalists, corrupt politicians, and crooked elites whose only care is wealth and power. They take advantage of cheap labor and lax regulations abroad. They take advantage of you. Enough is enough. Tariffs are about valuing our workers, our consumers, and our nation. Let's keep jobs in America and use tariffs the way our forefathers did, to protect our economy and our future. We need strong economic policies. We need tariffs, not taxes. We need to put America first and begin a new golden age.
Interesting.
There we go.
I got to run, guys, but thank you for having me on. And as a Canadian, may I say, your new golden age will be our new dark age. It'll be interesting being up here.
Oh, I hope not.
You guys have no idea how bad we're getting hit. We're getting hit because of what he's done, and I respect what he's doing. The knock-on effect for Canada is horrific because we've had successive governments move manufacturing out of our country to the point where now we net export resources and net import everything we need, and as a result of that, these tariffs are literally killing us right now.
Bear, what would be a good solution?
A good solution?
Yeah. From your perspective.
Not have a guy who was the head of the Bank of England and the Bank of Canada as our prime minister. That'd be a good solution.
That's one good one. I would say why do we have tariffs on each other? We share a border.
Well, we did have free trade, but it went away.
That's my biggest complaint. Like, you're right north of Minnesota and Montana and all these places that have an infrastructure set up. We have highways, and yeah, you use a different currency than us, but I honestly feel that there should be as little barrier to penetration as possible for trade. I'm not feeling that the tariffs are going to affect anybody on top as much as they affect the people on bottom. It's another form of inflation.
All I'm going to say to you is softwood lumber. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Our softwood lumber was better and cheaper than yours.
Yep.
And that almost put a trade war between our two countries.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do about it. It's the nature of the beast of the people at top. We at the bottom fighting for our little scraps and our little pieces that we can get and hope to God they're enough. Meanwhile, these assholes are flying around in jets telling us we have to reduce our consumption of fuel. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, I got to go, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Good to see you, Six Nations. I got to see your face earlier, so now I know what you look like. Ha ha.
Have a good one, Bear.
Bye. Thank you.
Bless you, bud.
But I have no idea. I don't understand a lot of it as much as I wish I did. I'm trying to learn more and listen more. I'm going to more spaces on X and listening to people who say they know what's going on. So I'm trying to understand it. But hopefully I'll understand more as the process unfolds. But I think it's important that I share what other people that say they understand what it means to help them realize that, maybe they'll learn something like I'm trying to teach myself about how things are going in our country. And just like I've said many times too on this show and in spaces, that I believe that every country, I don't care which country it is or how small it is, their government should be for their people first and do what's best for their country to grow and be prosperous. So whatever they have to do that. And if they have to suffer a little bit and get the people that are grubby, money hungry, horrible people that don't care about their citizens, then hopefully the citizens will fight back and take the country away from those people. I mean, that's what we did. 77 million people stood up and voted and put this new administration in, and they're cleaning house with Doge, and they're slowly going through all the different agencies in our government and making changes. And hopefully, by the end of this year or halfway through next year, we will be feeling better results from what's happening. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I voted for. So until I start seeing results from it, I really don't have answers about a lot of it, how it's done, because I buy stock, but I look at it and listen to the person who's trying to get me to buy it through my bank or whatever. And I say, oh, but that sounds like a pretty good idea. So I'll buy some. That's how I do it. And I don't just go and say, oh, look, I know all about how this works and just buy it myself. I am not that educated in that aspect. It's just like me telling Bruce, here's some material and a sewing machine, make me a quilt. It just doesn't work that way. You can't just expect someone who's never been involved in it to all of a sudden understand how that works. But people should be willing to try to learn more about different things that they don't know anything about, especially when it affects your future or the future of your family. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that's what will happen. So we will see. But I wanted to say thank you to all my chat. I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Oh, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about my saying, what did you say? Because I can't hardly hear out of my right ear because I shot my gun without wearing headphones or anything inside the back of my coupe. And my ear was ringing all night afterward. And I am starting to get it back, but it's like muffled really bad on the right. It was an emergency, though. I had to save my chickens from a huge giant raccoon as big as a Cocker Spaniel. It was giant. So that's why I'm having a hard time hearing. I'm really sorry, but I'm trying not to be too annoying. But I just thought that was important. I wanted to play that because there's a couple of different articles that I was able to bring up that I thought was important to do them together so that I could explain this. Now, here's something, Bruce, I might need you or Six Nations to be able to explain this, because they tried to tell me that you need to show this so people can see it, but I don't know if I can explain what it is. I'm not very good at it. Sorry. It says the Trump administration has released charts outlining its new reciprocal tariffs, and I wanted to share what these are. And it's trying to show the difference, I guess, between what we were charged and what this will change it to. Is that what this is? I'm trying to understand, but can you tell by looking at it?
I'll give it a shot. So,
okay.
As far as I know, with the reciprocal tariffs, each country has been screwing us over in various ways, disproportionately for certain items, not everything, but certain items. And so Trump's idea is we're going to increase the cost of tariffs. And if he wanted to, he could match it 100%. So let's say whatever country we're dealing with, we're getting some sort of grain or export from them.
Yeah.
And normally we charge a 10% tax. If we export stuff to them, it could be as high as 75% or 335% or whatever. They set their prices, we set our prices. Trump's going to have reciprocal tariffs. So like right now he's starting out kind of small. Like you look at the numbers, and like in this image here, he's almost matching dollar for dollar or percentage or percentage. So the idea is, okay, we're going to start charging more, and then that's going to cause some fluctuation in the market, and theoretically that will bring people to the table to negotiate prices, and then we can maybe get past whatever the hell it is that we're we're getting locked up in. And then theoretically the market will balance out and free trade will reign, and huzzah, we're making money.
I'm going to copy this link for these reciprocal tariffs chart, and I'm going to put it in the chat for everyone, because I would like you to be able to look at it yourselves, because I was really surprised when I saw how many countries were on there, because, you know, you see a map, you know, on a globe, but you don't really think about it in terms of who we trade goods with, you know what I mean? Or buy oil from, or buy rice from, or buy other products for our countries. And it's interesting. And I've been trying to learn about it as much of as I can, on top of, you know, my everyday stuff that I have to do anyways. But it's really, really interesting. It really is. And I wish I'd paid more attention to this kind of stuff when I was in school. But believe me, I was not interested in half of this stuff. But I think it's important that more and more people start paying attention to it, especially when it does affect us. Even if you don't make a product to sell, it does affect you when you go shopping for your own self, you know, and your own families, whether it's a car or a home or furniture put in your house, your clothes, jewelry that you might buy, shoes, you know, food that you put on your tables at night when you have dinner, all those things, stoves, refrigerators. I was just shocked when I started going through all the lists of just the products that we buy. What's funny is one thing I did learn was that we were talking about the price of oil. Okay. And that Canada ships oil down to us, and that the different refineries refine it. And then they send a lot of it back up to Canada to do other things with it, because depending on how they refine it, it's what they're going to make out of it. I didn't realize that either. Yeah. You know, the details of that
plastic,
stuff.
it could be fuel.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how much stuff we actually make out of oil. So even if we stopped driving, using gasoline in cars, we're still going to need oil to make tons of stuff. I was just shocked. All the things that come from plastic. So we make wrap to wrap food with, Ziploc bags, garbage bags, plastic bowls, lots of clothing even has plastic in it now. Chairs, like the chair I'm sitting in, these lights behind me. It's amazing.
Your audio cut out.
I'm sorry. All the stuff behind me is made out of plastic. You know what I mean? It's amazing how much stuff has plastic in it, and that's made from oil that's pumped out of the ground. So I don't know. I think it's amazing that I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm hoping that other people realize that. I really do. I don't understand it, but I really do believe that Trump is trying to level the playing field for us. I really do that. And even though it might not look that way to some people, I really do believe that it is. So, but I guess we're just going to have to be patient and find out, because that's basically the only way we're going to know is the aftermath, right? So, okay, let's see. What was this other one? I think this was the next one. We'll see. All right. Here's some more of this stuff, because we've talked about it many times, about all the people, the droves and droves and droves of millions of people that just walked over the border, and that the Biden administration basically just left the borders wide open. And that's what this is talking about. This gentleman is testifying to, I guess, to the Congress or to the Senate or another committee on trying to get the information about what this last administration did and why they did it, leaving our borders wide open.
Distinguished members, thank you for this opportunity. The only true consequence we have to slow down and discourage people from coming into the United States illegally is sending them back to their country of origin. Throughout the first 3+ years of this administration, I saw a steady decrease in the countries we can send people back to. For the first time in my 25 years and under 5 different administrations, whether through neglect or on purpose, I saw a large-scale lapse in our ability to return people to their country of origin. The inability to send people home meant that most people being arrested for illegal entry would either have to be detained or released. The current administration, however, from day one, made a point of decreasing the amount of detention space available nationwide. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's funding for detention has steadily been cut and private detention eliminated. The fact that so many illegal aliens are being released into the United States spread worldwide very quickly. As this happened, the numbers the Border Patrol encountered illegally crossing the border increased exponentially. The impact to me and my agents were significant. Sectors were ordered to take in and process all the illegal aliens encountered on the border. Border Patrol saw groups of hundreds and thousands coming into the United States and turning themselves in. These numbers pulled 80, 90, sometimes 100% of the agents on duty away from the border. Border Patrol zones across Texas, Arizona, and California had no agent presence for weeks and months at a time. Those who did not want to be caught simply walk in. We have no idea who and what entered our country over this time. Throughout 2022 and 23, I sent agents to Texas and Arizona to count gotaways. Those sectors could not even put enough agents in the field to see what they'd missed. Simultaneously, in San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through en masse. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents. To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis. Once these flights were stopped and the releases continued, California saw the true economic impact. I received calls from the governor's office, local mayors, and hospital administrators asking me if we could keep injured aliens in custody so the federal government would pay the medical bills. Through pressure from the administration, my headquarters became more interested in the fiction that being portrayed in the media and not at all concerned with reality. Each time we asked for help in dealing with a new issue, it fell on deaf ears. At times in San Diego, we had 2,000 or more aliens sitting in between the fences asking to turn themselves in. I was told to move them out of sight of the media. Meanwhile, Border Patrol agents are continually forgotten and neglected by the media and its administration. These agents deal with death, women and children that have been raped, abused, trafficked, bought and sold, families that have spent months in terrible conditions, sickness, and despair. If you look at the dramatic rise in the number of suicides within the Border Patrol, it is directly correlated with the migrant surge. The agents have been pushed beyond their limit, and this has greatly impacted their physical and mental health. While current numbers of aliens crossing our border are lower in comparison in recent months, there's a reason for this. After nearly 4 years, this administration finally started to ask Mexico for help in slowing down the traffic through their country. This and other actions make a difference, but why has it taken so long? All of these tactics were being used before this administration took office, but this administration stopped or greatly limited them. I'm also concerned this will not be maintained. The problems we are facing at the border have solutions. These solutions can be quite simple and cost far less than the mess currently occupying so much time and money. The return to a policy of enforcing the law and returning illegal aliens to their home countries is required. Thank you.
It's amazing how much stuff is slowly coming out, but it's so much information in so many areas of our government. It's overwhelming. Okay. So we say we want all this information out. We want to release this and that and open these records and do this and that. But our government, and especially only the ones that we trust, right? There's only a small handful of people I trust in the government right now, even though the Trump administration is trying to weed through all of it and get rid of people, which they are slowly. But until I feel that they have the right people in place to start making arrests, start putting these people through court, we have to have courts that we trust. I can tell you right now, over half the judges in this country, I wouldn't trust to take any of these people. I mean, all we have to do is take Hillary Clinton and put her in front of a corrupt judge, and she's going to get nothing. It's going to get a slap on the wrist, just like what O.J. Simpson received. If you get the right judge and the right people behind him. I don't want that to happen. All those girls that were trafficked through the Epstein thing, through Diddy's group, and through some of these other organizations, I don't want them to get those judges. I want them to pay for what they've done. And the only way to do that is to let them dismantle and try to put it back together and then put the stuff out. Now, releasing stuff with the JFK and the stuff like that, that's fine, because there's not really anyone that we can prosecute because of it. But getting the facts out, I think, is important. I think it's important that we see how our government hid things from us and did things behind our backs without sharing any of it to get away with whatever coup they were trying to get done. And they were successful. They got him out of office, and they were almost successful getting rid of Trump. And I really do believe that it was, we're going to find out later when it does come out, that these people were behind it. They didn't want him in there. They wanted him dead. So, I believe this kind of stuff coming out is important, and that we need to share it with as many people as we can, and try to get the facts out there. So when they do start arresting people and holding people accountable, that we're not all shocked going, what happened? When did this happen? It came out 5 years ago. I didn't hear anything about it. Okay. And then we hear that a lot. But I would like for us to have judges and other lawyers and other people in place to be able to handle this huge flow of fluctuation that I think we're going to have, because I am shocked every single day when I get on any of these platforms and see how much more new bullshit has come out. It is getting overwhelming. And that's one reason why I wanted to start with that one gentleman talking about some of it, because some people are going to break. Some people are going to commit suicide. They're going to start drinking or doing drugs. It's going to devastate a lot of people because they are shocked the position they're in. Or you're going to have somebody that's in a family or a spouse. They're going to find out their spouse was in on it, on some of the corruption, and they didn't know anything about it. How is that going to affect them? It's going to affect a lot of people. It's going to affect everyone, because to some degree, we're all involved in it, through our government. So anything you guys want to say, anything, since I'm done with my rant before I go to the next thing?
I'm not seeing any arrests yet, so I can't comment, and I'm not going to comment.
But what do you think about the corrupt judges and stuff?
You really don't want to know. You want to keep your channel? Don't let me talk about that.
Okay, well, then you don't need to talk about it right now.
I'll fucking lose my fucking patience talking about that shit.
Okay, well, let me 1 second. I have something else that goes with this. If I can. Okay, here's one of the things that I thought was important that we should listen to, because all of you know who James O'Keefe is, right? He had his company taken away from him because they didn't like the way he was bringing out the dirt, basically. Well, he's got some stuff he wants to talk about, and I think it's important that we hear him. And I do trust this kid or guy or whatever. I trust the way he's been able to pull things out and bring it to light.
The first of the intelligence community surveillance targets appeared to be a former Defense Intelligence Agency, that's DIA head, and would-be Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Another target was staffer George Papadopoulos. In 2018, HPSCI, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, released a 243-page report clearing Trump of allegations that he and his team colluded with Russia to interfere with the 2016 election. However, sources close to the House Permanent Select Committee, led by Adam Schiff, covertly continued working out of a small room in Langley, and he had access to raw logs and communications from agencies like the CIA and the National Security Council. The first of the intelligence community surveillance targets appeared to...
Okay, so basically what he's trying to say is that Adam Schiff was involved and he has evidence of it. So that's what I'm hoping. Little things like this coming out and then getting the evidence gathered and given to the right people so we can start seeing some of these people prosecuted for some of the things, the crimes that they committed. Because basically it's like treason against, our country. And here's another person that I do trust. I've seen a lot of his stuff, and I do believe in a lot of the things that he does talk about. It says, where are these lawsuits against Trump administration coming from? Let's look at some of the main players. There's American Oversight, which was created in 2017 specifically to fight against Trump. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing because he's going to talk about it. But the thing is that there is so much evidence slowly stacking up. We just have to make sure that we have not a corrupt judge, like what happened in Arizona with the whole thing with the Katie Hobbs mess. There's so much corruption in the system, legal system in Arizona. Until they weed those people out, I don't see justice for anybody really in Arizona. And I want to see it cleaned up more in our country so that we can.
So let's look at the main players behind these lawsuits, because it's shocking. Shocking. How have we ever seen these people before? No. First, let's take a look at American Oversight. This cute little organization here. They're involved in multiple suits, including one that was filed last week over the whole Signal chat mess. American Oversight was launched in 2017. What a shock. It was right after Donald Trump entered the White House for the first time. And it was created specifically to fight against Trump at every turn. Its status as a 501c3 nonprofit means it relies on donations and grants, but it doesn't disclose any of its sponsors, but it also doesn't seem to have any funding problems. I wonder why. In fact, when the American Oversight launched, one of its senior advisors empathetically told USA Today, we can't do it. We just can't do it. We don't discuss our donors. Oh, such empathy for these people. Isn't it great? Now, I'll get back to the American Oversight in just a minute. As you will see, it's pretty clear who their likely donors are. Next, Democracy Forward. Now, this one is really super special. They've also filed multiple lawsuits. What I'm showing you up the chalkboard, this is the vast majority of all these lawsuits. This one lawsuit included their request to Judge Boasberg to halt Trump's deportation flights of gang members and a case against eliminating the Department of Education. Democracy Forward was also started, this is so weird, in 2017. Huh. Same time. What are the odds?
That doesn't make any sense.
Just like American Oversight. And its mission was to make legal challenges to Trump policies. Now, they spent the last 2 years planning for all of their lawsuits before Trump did anything. Wow. That's like, I've got to hire an accident attorney. Why, has there been an accident? No, but there's going to be one, and he's already preparing for it. Oh, that doesn't seem suspicious at all. Anyway, they would file all of these lawsuits if Trump won the election. Now, they wanted to use Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 as their blueprint. So they went after that. The chairman of Democracy Forward, the board of director, the chairman, is Mark Elias. Now, why do we know that name? Well, he's the mega lawyer for Democrats, who I've mentioned, tons of times over the last couple of years. He was general counsel for the one and only Hillary Clinton during her 2016 presidential campaign. That's weird. And then he was also running the DNC in 2020 and for Kamala Harris's campaign last year. But he's neutral on these things. And then there's the captain of this whole enterprise, this guy, Norm Eisen. Love Normie. He's great. You've heard me talk about him, too. He is the co-founder of CREW, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. Ethics. He's also
good name.
A newer group.
Such a good name.
Democracy Defenders Fund. 1 month before Trump started his second term in office, his State Democracy Defenders Fund had already requested records from 16 federal agencies about interactions with the new Department of Global Efficiency. He wasn't even in the office yet. But no, we got to know what Doge is doing. Now, where have we seen this dude before? Because I know we've seen him someplace. Well, during the 2019 Trump impeachment effort, he was the special counsel for Adam Schiff and the House Impeachment Committee. So if you're on with Adam Schiff, you know all about ethics. Eisen is a lawfare zealot with one driving passion, and that is removing Donald Trump from office.
That's all they want.
Well, they tried that before, so why not just bury him in so many lawsuits that he can't get anything done? Here he is on MSNBC in February.
The lawsuits we're bringing, I'm planning 100 this year. 100. The lawsuits we're bringing are designed as part of that. And it's starting to work because you can't do it in the courts of law alone. You need the court of public opinion. And what did we see this week in parallel with our Treasury lawsuit, that first Treasury case? Peaceful protesters for the first time starting to show up at the Treasury building around the country.
Bunch of fucking blue-haired nose in the goddamn nose earrings and shit.
I know, but see, it's all hand in hand. As long as we have all these corrupt judges, which we know have been put in place strategically because they're already planned. They've already planned this shit. They already had it all set up and ready to go. So when he gets back in office, because we can't out-cheat him this time, we got to keep him in court. We got to take every single thing they do and have a lawyer ready.
A goddamn wood chipper.
That's it. I know, but what I'm trying to say is that is why our states and states like Texas, when you have your cities being overrun with Democrats and they're corrupt, you have to get the corruption out of your state so that we can have clean judges and judicial system so that we can't let them pass all this shit and constantly dragging the courts into this whole thing with the administration to save our country. And they knew what they're doing, because everybody keeps saying, well, it's taking so long. It's taking so long. Why is it taking so long? It takes so long because they drag it through court week after week after week after year, and it adds up. Just think about it. If they can keep Trump administration in court with Doge and everything else, and that means they're not saving any money. We're not doing anything but spending money to try to save money from corrupt money from going to other countries and to people that don't deserve it. Social Security checks going to people that have been dead for 100 years. All that stuff is all being held up in court simply because we have so many corrupt judges and lawyers and corrupt politicians behind it all. Just keep playing the tune. And after a few years, people say, see, this administration didn't care any more than the other one. See, that's what, and it's working because people are bitching. We're not seeing this. We're not seeing that. And it's been 70 something days. But look how much lawfare they're already using. They dragged Trump through court for the whole 4 years he wasn't president. And if he wasn't as rich as he was, where would he be right now? He wouldn't be president. See, people have got to realize that they're playing at every level to ruin this country, to take you and I's rights away and make us stay with our hands and feet chained to the grindstone so that we keep paying that check every month to the government to spend whichever way they want, and you not even getting to own your own property. Because how can you own a home or your property if you're constantly having to pay the government taxes on it after you've already paid for it? When is it yours? When does that car or that home or anything you buy really yours?
Ever.
Okay, but did you hear what's going on with DeSantis?
Yep.
He's trying to pass it where you don't have taxes like that. And that's what I think Trump is trying to work his way to have tariffs and no taxes. Why should you have to pay taxes on your property if you own it? You've paid it off. You shouldn't have to pay any more taxes on it. It's yours. See, that kind of stuff. And that's why they hate it. These Democrats hate that so much that they're doing everything in their power and every aspect of every level of government to stop them.
I'm sorry, I have to say it. I just hate them so much. It is so evil what they're doing.
It is evil. And they shouldn't be able to get away with it. But as long as we do nothing and we just sit down and say, well, it's taken forever and they're not getting the results that we asked for. Well, we're not going to get them as long as they have all these people dragging it, every single decision they've made to court. And look what they've done to Elon Musk. They're destroying every dealership he has from all over the place. They're getting rid of them. You know what I mean? They're burning them out. And they're using all their little underlings, the ones like you were talking about a while ago, that's on the George Soros paycheck list. You put them in a bus and you bus them somewhere, right? You bus them somewhere, and now they're now destroying this city. Or then you bus them to this next one. Now they're destroying that city. We think the Summer of Love was pretty bad. I think it's going to get way worse. They are going to stop at nothing. Make sure Trump is not successful. And they want us, you and me, the ones that are America First people, they want us to bitch about him. And I'm hearing more and more Trumpers bitching about Trump and the people he's chosen already. And it's only been 70-something days. And they're doing it exactly the way that these people have been playing the tune. Because they said, just wait, we play it long enough, they're going to start bitching and moaning at them, and we're going to win, and that's how they're going to win. They're going to use.
They're trying multiple avenues to win. Mm-hmm. I'm from Illinois. I've seen their playbook. I watched it, and I'm quite okay with just not giving a shit of what major media says.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not caring.
I will say this about the left.
Harry Sisson can say whatever he wants to.
The left is creative, but they don't have management.
They don't.
Because they all want to be boss.
It was pretty lame up here. We had some Antifa and BLM types, and they were armed and they were trying to scare people because a half dozen of them would show up with their guns. But then you got 6 blocks of Idahoans with various small arms ready to take them out, and they didn't do shit except
it's a shame
Boise,
they didn't put them in the
or
ground.
Moscow or other small areas where it's mostly a leftist government at the local level.
Yeah,
nothing makes me happier than seeing Antifa not becoming a part of the population.
Well, this is another reason why I wanted to bring this. I wanted to play that to lead into this, because remember, with an executive order that Trump signed, and I love the fact that he's signing them in front of the press, and he talks about each one that he signs and explains what it is. why he's signing it. So he's never going to be put in the place of Otto Pin, last president, right? But remember, he signed a thing saying that if you were to attack the Tesla dealerships in retaliation against Elon Musk because he's helping the government find waste and corruption, then you are a domestic terrorist. And because he signed that, this is what Elon Musk says. It confirms he knows who's orchestrating the Tulsa attacks, and he's going after the generals now for RICO charges. They can charge RICO charges now simply for the fact of the order that Trump signed saying that people doing this stuff is a domestic terrorist. And I hope that they get all these people and they find out who the people are that's paying these people to do this shit. So listen to this interview. I don't know if you've heard it yet or not.
This is fundamentally a case of terrorism. It's wide-scale domestic terrorism with the purpose of intimidation, and it's harming innocent people. It's really terrible. And I think what we actually have to get to are the people who are organizing and paying for these attacks and protests. That's who we really need to go after, because the people who are actually throwing the Molotov cocktails, they are the foot soldiers. Right. But we need to go after the generals, and we're going to do so. The president has made it very clear that we're going to go after those that are paying and organizing these violent attacks. And Attorney General Bondi has said the same thing. I believe that is exactly what will happen.
Do you know who they are?
We're coming for them.
Do you know who those generals are?
We know. We do.
Yes. And hopefully the prosecution will be for RICO and an organized criminal enterprise, which makes the penalties even more serious. And now to Jessica.
Yes, absolutely. These are serious crimes where the organizers and pushers of mass violence will go to prison for a very long time.
That's right. Okay.
And I hope they see this segment.
Yeah. So the thing is, it is coming out in the wash. They're finally gonna do something about it. We just have to be patient. They have to have all their ducks in a row. And they already arrested that guy, the guy that started that fire that we saw on that Tesla lot. There was like 7 cars on fire. That guy's been arrested because Pam Bondi was talking about him doing that. And he's been charged with, what was it called again? Domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen. We just have to wait and let it go to court. Because once we start seeing people in court being prosecuted, but the thing is, we have a media that's not going to try to put it on TV. They're going to try to not tell people that these people are being going through jail right now, or going through the motions of court. You know what I mean? And unless we stay on top of it and constantly want to share more and more information as it's unfolding, people aren't going to know. And that's why it's up to us. It's up to the 77 million people that voted for this administration to clean house, and they're trying to do that. If we don't keep sharing it and sharing it and sharing it, I know it's going to get old news. Like people kept saying, are you going to get tired of winning? Well, we're going to win more once we make sure other people know about it. And when people start going to prison for doing this shit, then maybe someone will start believing that Trump really is doing what he said he was going to do, because we have to help. It's like I said, our job starts once we get them in office. It doesn't end, because I believe
all this winning is great, but we got a lot more winning to do.
Oh, we got a lot to do.
A lot more winning.
A whole lot.
My favorite thing that's going on right now actually is the fact that all these idiots are vandalizing Teslas. And it was the original purchasers of the Teslas that were out there, proselytizing, saying, you guys really don't care about the environment. Here, look at me. I just bought a Tesla. I just virtue signaled. And now they're trying to put signs on their car. I'm not done paying on it yet. but it's my car. It's not Elon's. Don't hurt my car, please. And I feel sorry for them just for the fact that, like, okay, you're a private property owner, and now you feel like the rest of us who, we kind of worry about our vehicles. We lock our doors at night and such. Mm-hmm. But, you opted for these cars. I'm not a car guy, but I would never drive an electric vehicle because it looks like a goddamn bubble car out of the Hot Wheels line from the 1980s. I don't want a bubble car. I don't want anything that they market at this moment in any EV because they don't look like they've got nuts. Yeah, they've got good pickup, but they last you, 2 hours of drive time and you got to go charge it? Fuck all that.
Yeah, something like
half
that.
Of that in the winter, half that in the winter, by the way. And I'm not into that. I don't trust the electricity to stay at the current rate. And the current rate for me is far too high anyway, because if you know me, you understand I hate the summertime pricing of San Antonio.
Well, I want to ask a question real quick.
Go ahead.
What size batteries would you have to have on your vehicle to do the job that you do?
The
to have
truck?
an electric vehicle. Yeah.
Okay. HEB currently has probably an eighth of the fleet they've got is EV. Mm-hmm. And they're already starting to see problems. They just installed them like 2.5, 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. They're really nice and quiet. I will give them that. Because the diesel engine is loud. It rumbles, it rattles, it bellows. But you would have to have that battery size would have to be larger than what could fit in my Subaru's trunk. Because it would have to be huge to power and pull 80,000 pounds of sloshing material up a hill.
Mm-hmm. And but what's going to happen? What happens when you have to replace the batteries in all these trucks? Where are they going to go? Because we already have whole giant acreages of land with batteries that we can't redo. We can't. There's nothing we can do with it because of what's in it.
Dump them off at a fucking wind farm because you can't use that for the shit anyway.
Yeah,
a landfill.
He says at a landfill. That's right, but guess what? You can't recycle them.
Nope.
And
can't ever be used again.
Yeah, you can never use them again. But they are filled with horrible chemicals that destroy the earth around it. You're not going to have trees. You're not going to have animals. You're not going to have anything because it's going to die if it eats any of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they haven't figured out how to do it. To me, honestly, we know more about how to dispose of and how to protect people from nuclear fuel rods than we do with these batteries that they just chuck.
Nuclear.
And then they bury it. See what I mean? It's scary. It's a scary thought of what's going to happen where these batteries are at within 100 years. What's going to happen to the ground around it? It's poison. It's leaking into our water systems.
It's a hazmat. What do you think it is?
I know. That's what I'm saying. But nobody's talking about it. I don't hear anybody talking about what are we going to do with all of these batteries afterward. And that's one of the things that I have posted a few times on Elon's thing. I'm not trying to be mean to him, but what happens to all the Tesla batteries? What do they do with them when the cars are taken in, they get new batteries put in them? What are they doing with the batteries?
I have no idea.
Are they taking them out into outer space?
Salt batteries
they have
that
to
they're working
replace
on.
them.
You know, so stuff like that. It's a legitimate question, but nobody can give me an answer. So until someone gives me some answers about what we're going to do with all these old batteries, just like the landfills that are filled with all those wind turbines, giant blades and stuff that is, all oil, petroleum based products to make all of that, but they're massive in size. So how do we go? You can't recycle them. What are you going to do with them? I mean,
Carbon fiber is hard to get rid of.
I know.
I don't have any sympathy, for the market on that aspect. I mean, no offense, but my Subaru is recyclable. If something happens to me and somebody decides, hey, I'm going to buy that and just compress it and then melt it down, slag it, they can do that. They can yank out the battery, take the good parts out, and then completely turn the car into a little box with a car crusher, and then slag that and do whatever they want. Because that's
Hardwicke found this. He says that I just Googled it and found this. None of our scrap lithium ion batteries go into landfilling and are 100% recycled. And that is from the Tesla website. So that's a good thing. So maybe
I hope
he's trying to do something with it, because I'm telling you right now, some of these other battery companies and stuff with the wind turbine stuff, they're not doing that.
No,
they're not making any kind of effort to do that. So see, this is something right here, what he just shared with us, Hardwicke. That's something that we should be sharing with people. Let them know that even Tesla has got a place to get rid of their batteries, and for you to bring them to them, and they'll replace it and they will take care of it and recycle it. Okay.
I mean, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. I actually am, because that will help out some friends of mine that will want to buy EV, because at some point they're gonna, their little minds will be like, oh, I don't really want a big truck anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine, don't buy a big truck. Well, I want to get an EV. All right, well, Tesla does recycle their stuff according to their website.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be nice if that's the truth. I don't know if it's truth. I can't verify it. I can't verify if Brad says something. I'm not going to immediately go fact check Brad and be like, hold on, let me go make sure, Brad, that you're telling me the truth. But if the Tesla website says that, more than likely they're being honest. At least half of them are doing. The page with more details shows up if you Google Tesla and battery recycling. That's awesome. I'm a little concerned for the fact that, you have to replace it after 5 or 7 years. And if you don't, it's just like if you keep your phone too long, your car just goes 30 miles and that's it. To me, that's just a losing situation. And I know there's some people that are like, oh no, you want to trade the battery in. Well, you want to play with cars like that? Great. Play with cars like that. Play with their Cybertruck. I would rather drive a Dodge Chrysler product than an EV. And for me to even say that, I feel like I need to go grab a bottle of peroxide and swish my mouth out.
Well, I'll
for the communists spray painting these poor Tesla owners' cars. Joke's on you, suckers. I've been painting dicks on my car for years.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Imagine if you're somebody that always wanted to put a Nazi swastika on your car, and now some fucking kid with a bolt in his nose and purple hair, he does it for free. Man, what a bargain.
Well, here's something else I thought was pretty interesting. It's another thing about the judges I was talking about. I'm seeing more and more, but it's good to see people talking about it now, because so many people were just not saying nothing because they thought, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, we can't do anything about it if nobody knows about it in the first place. So here, I want people to hear this.
Activist judges who oppose President Trump or exceed their jurisdiction. This week, both the House and the Senate are looking at ways to mitigate that trend. We've seen a lot of it. Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram shows us how tonight.
Republicans raging.
These judges, are exceeding their powers beyond belief.
The GOP accusing judges of stretching their jurisdiction, issuing nationwide injunctions.
Yes, they have their constitutional powers, but not superior to the President of the United States nor the Congress.
House and Senate Republicans writing bills to limit the reach of these rulings.
Universal injunctions have become a favorite tool of those seeking to obstruct President Trump's agenda.
Hopefully it's going to send a message to these rogue judges.
Democrats call this bullying.
Part of this effort is to put in the judge's mind, whatever judge it is, if you don't go our way, we're going to get you one way.
Well, that is exactly what I feel like they have been doing to us. And what's funny is they constantly say that. They constantly say what they're doing. You know what I mean? But they say we're the ones doing it because we're the fascists. And they call Antifa, are calling us fascists when Antifa, or everything they do is fascist. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. The more I've looked into it, the more I realize that they say that, you know, they point the finger at me and say, you are a fascist all along when they are the fascists, actually, instead of me, because I know I'm not.
You're a fascist. You're a fascist. You're a fascist.
Basically. So I don't know. I just think it's really, really great that some people are finally speaking out against it and bringing it up to the forefront, because there's so many people that just kind of like look around going, you know, it's taken so long for everything. What's taking so long? Why is it taking so long? Because they don't see it on their one app that they're on.
I want more arrests. My bad.
Yeah, I pay more attention to local politics. Like we're kicking ass right now.
But what really kills me is
House bill for ivermectin. We busted a Sinaloa cartel drug dealer who was pimping anywhere between once and twice a week 40 pounds of methamphetamines, fentanyl, and other trash. Like that's what I can work with is my local government. You know, I can vote for whoever is running for office in my county. Put the fire to the feet of Governor Little and pray to God he doesn't do something retarded again. Like, that's what I can do. And if it helps out my state, it's going to help out other states. And then eventually we'll see the change. And we don't have to end up in that Red Dawn scenario where we're running around in the woods trying to fight the tyrants. Although it's not going to end up that way. It's going to be totally different. But that's how Hollywood portrays it. So I'm going to stick with it for right now.
Well, this was another thing I thought was pretty interesting. It was this gentleman here I want to play for everybody so you guys can listen to it about jobs.
Is Trump's tariffs already working? Don't scroll past this video because you're going to want to hear this. Stellantis, the maker of Ram pickup trucks, has just announced that they are laying off 900 people and shutting down 2 plants in Canada and Mexico because of Trump's tariffs. And that's what you're going to hear on the news today, okay? But the part you're not going to hear on the news is they also announced that they are reopening a plant in Illinois where they're going to hire 1,500 American workers to start building Ram mid-size pickup trucks. Now, if that is not what the tariffs were designed to do, then I don't know what is.
Well, that's a nice start. You know, that'd be something good for Illinois because they can always use good news over there.
Yeah, the thing is, that's what is going to hurt Canada. They're going to pull these businesses out and bring them to our country where they were before they went there for cheap labor. See, but the thing is, you know, and I feel bad about that. But the fact is, if you don't make anything that you can send out besides oil, I mean, they're going to have to bump up their oil production and stuff like that if they want to, you know, boost that. I don't know what other products they have. I know they have beef and timber and other things like that. They're just going to have to work on making those products come to America. Just like I said, I'm one of those people that buy something not simply because it's cheap. I want to buy something that's going to last. And I'll pay more money for something I feel is going to last longer than the other product.
Yeah, I get that. You know, that's why I bought the car that I bought, you know, and I'm not saying that Subaru is best, but I'm just saying that I feel happier driving that than I ever felt driving my Honda Civic. And my Honda Civic was a little scooter. I mean, if I put my foot into it, it would answer me back, with the appropriate response. But this here, I literally feel like whenever I've got the ground to cover and I need time, I need more time to cover that ground. If I don't have the opportunity to get pulled over, I'm getting somewhere faster. And I really do appreciate what type of engineering went into that car, because I love an all-wheel drive vehicle. I've never had one before, and now I'm sampling it for the first time. It feels great.
I have one.
It doesn't feel fun whenever you decide to, you're going to do a corner, and like you can feel your body. Yeah, you sway towards the outgoing direction of the curve, but at the same time, you can feel your vehicle adjust to the asphalt, and it's starting to hug the ground, because that's how it feels like with me. Like I might be.
It's not just that; it's the fact that when we have weather like I'm having right now. Okay, you're not in Tornado Alley, are you?
I'm in San Antonio. We don't even see rain past the month of April.
Okay. So the thing is, I'm in Tornado Alley. So, and you have lots of windy roads and hills, and I'm up on top of a mountain right now. And then I had the valley below me, and there's lots of flooding. Like my daughter came home earlier and she said the bottom of our street, our road, it's like 3.5 miles long, up this whole road before it turns into two different roads, is flooded. So that doesn't mean it's, rushing water or whatever, but my vehicle can get over areas like that because it's all-wheel drive compared to a regular car that just has front-wheel drive, right? So there's lots of things that I'm able to do now because of my truck that I couldn't have done before in my little Kia Soul, Yeah,
I will never take my car through a flooded area. I'm just too low for that shit. I like my car.
I got a buddy who has a Subaru Legacy, one of those midsize all-wheel drive, and like around here, you either have a truck with a lift kit with 4-wheel drive, or you try to get something with all-wheel drive. Because the snow and all that, we don't get too much snow, but it's enough to ruin your day. You'll be fishtailing out of the neighborhoods and whatnot. But he loves that thing, and that thing just gets up and goes. So if I was going to get a brand new car, I'd probably lean towards one of those Subarus.
Don't get a brand new Subaru. Get a 2018 or 2019, because that was the years before they had all the sensors and all the safety garbage that the U.S. government.
Realistically, I would get a 70s or 80s model like Bronco or Blazer if I had my choice.
Made out of real metal.
I've always liked
I would love to see you in a Lone Wolf McQuaid's SUV, dude.
But if they get rid of the chicken tax, I can get my VW microbus, and that's what I really want.
No, if we got rid of the chicken tax, I tell you right now, I'd be getting one of them fancy little Toyota $10,000 truckers.
Well, the vehicle that awesome. I bought, it's because the dealership in Arkansas, when I decided to get it, was because this dealership, they build their own powertrains or whatever, right, for their trucks and stuff, and it has 100,000-mile warranty on it.
Nice.
That's one of the reasons why, and I can take it into them, and I get all my oil changes and stuff there. So it's one of the reasons why I chose my truck over the other trucks that I looked at, and getting to drive it and everything. I really liked it, and I've really enjoyed driving it, and the fact that I can pull that little thing over the back and lock it. So someone can lock that up. Yeah, and the thing is, I can push a button when I'm walking out there, and the back end goes, opens up for me to put my, like chicken feed or whatever in the back. And I've really enjoyed it. It's a very comfortable ride. So far, I haven't had any problems with it at all. Knock on wood.
I know I sound like a Luddite, but that's a level of comfort that I don't want to have in my vehicles. Although I do have power locks and power
Well,
windows.
I have art, I have big pictures and stuff like that, and I need that to open so I can just put my picture in it. And that's one reason why I wanted this truck. I wanted to be able to take my little canopy, my stuff, all my things to a show or whatever myself, and I'll have to sit around and wait for somebody that has a pickup truck to come and pick me up and take me and drop me off and blah, blah, blah. It was a pain in the ass and it sucked. I have my own truck now and I can do it myself, and I can leave stuff in it and lock it. And if someone tries to break into it, it goes, it makes all that noise. Just like if it was inside, they broke in my window or tried to get in my car. Same thing with the bed of my truck. This is the way that they made it. So I'm really thankful for it. I'm really glad I found it. And I took my time and test drove a bunch of them until I found the one I wanted, so that I can do things that have more freedom now.
Forming thoughts. You have a good night, okay, hon?
Yeah, thank you. Talk to you later.
I really, I think that Canada, up until this point, I've never heard of a Canadian car company or a Canadian car for that matter. And Hardwick said something that really resonated with me. If Canada was smart, they'd just start making their own cars.
Yeah, right here.
And they've got factories. They've got the factories right fucking there. All somebody has to do is just,
make those hydro cars that ride on, water, basically.
They could start making their own brand of cars, and they've got the factories right there to produce them with. There's no reason why
There's plenty of rich people up there.
There's plenty of Canadians that are rich.
Go ahead.
From tractors. Like, God, what was it? Was it the Luas? That little 4x4 vehicle that they had? It was kind of like a cross between a compact car and a bus. Anyways, it had the same wheel hubs as like popular brand of tractor. So like they do a lot of agricultural stuff up there, and they're also in frozen tundra. So like if you can combine the two of tractor parts and car parts and make them interchangeable, they would have this awesome little car that farmers could use, regular townsfolk could use. And then maybe they'll trickle down here and we can like kit job them and go to San Diego and show off our little dorky, chromed out Canadian, hosermobile, whatever they would call it.
Yeah, because when I lived in the
It'd be epic.
Philippines, they had these things called jeepneys, and they had taken old Jeeps, I guess, during the war, and decorated them with jewels and souped them up and made them all. Yeah, and then we would, you pay. They would drive you around and give you a tour or whatever else. But that's what they called them when we were there. When I was a little girl, I remember doing that. But that's what I'm saying. The same thing in Cuba. They have cars that they just work on and fix constantly because they're old cars, but they take good care of them, and they're made out of real metal, so they last a while. But this next thing I thought was pretty interesting. I should have played it a little earlier when we were talking about this topic, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now since I forgot. So here we go. This was pretty good.
Dropping number. Where'd all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop too when I saw it. We were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse, and to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America, and we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came to the country as illegals, were giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and then got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, so they get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls, and that many of them had voted.
Dropping number.
Well, see, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about earlier was the fact we had a person that was on the shit show a couple weeks ago, the team shit show. talking about that they had found, Doge had found that they were taking money, USAID, from the veterans groups and giving it to illegals and paying for a lot of their things that they were using. So that was one of the things that tied in with that. And the fact that they were given social security numbers, and it was probably fake ones, you know what I mean? Or someone else's, it was already somebody's numbers. But the fact that they had it.
Or something like that.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's just like with the veterans. Okay. This is one of the problems that I've seen. And if you're a veteran, and you'd probably understand what I'm talking about, is the fact that you can go in to your doctor at this doctor's office and you get a prescription. Let's say they give you, your shoulder's hurting. So they give you 800 milligrams of ibuprofen prescription, right? So you get that and then you go home, but then you trip and fall and you hurt your wrist. Okay. So this time you can't get in to see the same person. You have to go to this other clinic and see this other one. And he writes you a prescription for 1,500 milligrams of ibuprofen. So now you're taking both of them, instead of thinking, oh, hey, that's an awful lot of ibuprofen. And next thing you know, within 3 months, you got a bleeding ulcer because the two offices aren't even talking to each other. And they're both for the veterans. It's a VA place. It's supposed to, you think if they put something in the system that the other system would see it and say, oh, we're not going to prescribe you this because you're already taking 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. See what I mean? Stuff like that. There's so many ways that we can cut down on the wasteful spending, but also having veterans taking multiple medications because the other one didn't even know the other one had given them one, because it's not in the system. There's not a connected system, even though it's in the same area. You think they'd all be connected. You know what I mean? So little things like that, we can help, and we can make our veterans be treated better and be treated with respect, simply because now people actually give a shit about what medicines are taking and whether or not this medicine is going to affect the medicine they're already on, that kind of thing. To me, that's common sense. It's like we were talking about earlier, is that when you don't have any common sense, it hurts everybody, because it doesn't make any sense. And the fact that you're taking someone's social security number and using it at this job, but the other person that has the same number isn't being told, hey, you have a job in that state, but you're also working over here. How's that possible? See? Because the people that are at the Social Security office are not doing their jobs. So streamlining it, just like what Elon was saying about, they just have to answer questions and send an email back. And if they can't even do that, then they're not doing their jobs, right? No. I mean, to me, that's the little simple things that they're trying to do is going to help if people would stop bitching and moaning. Oh, 2,500 people lost their jobs. Well, if they can't even answer an email, then maybe they shouldn't have that job. See, little things like that. It makes a difference. If you went to your job and you didn't clean out the system or whatever before you went, and you show up at the thing and you can only suck out a very small portion of their grease trap, how many times are you going to be able to do that without them bitching and moaning about it? See, it slowly comes back to haunt you, or they're going to blame it on the next guy that comes when he had nothing to do with it. When the guy before you knew exactly what he was doing, but he didn't want to have to take the time to do it. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he's still making as much money as the other person is making. Things like that is how you save money, by having efficient workers that actually care about the efficiency of their business and whether or not they're doing a good job for the customers. We need to start bringing back customer service. If you go into
hold on here. Customer satisfaction. Are you kidding me? How dare we try to make the customer happy?
Because if you go into a restaurant and you order a meal, and I've done this many times, and a lot of people don't want to go with me to eat. But the thing is, if I go to a restaurant and I make an order, let's say I ordered a margarita, right? And I said that I wanted my margarita with sugar on the rim, right? Not salt. and then I get it and it's got salt on the rim anyways. So I complain, and they have to take it and make me another one and give it to me. People that I'm with are mad because I'm embarrassing them. And I'm like, how is it embarrassing anyone when the person that's supposed to make something for you that you ordered can't even make it right? See what I mean? Why should I just eat it or drink it and pay for something I don't want? That's not any different than saying you have to get the jab whether you like it or not. It's the same thing. People have got to start standing up for what they believe in. If you took a suit in to get it dry cleaned and it has a stain on it, okay, and you said, I want this stain out, and they said, oh, no problem. You go to get it and the stain is still there, but they're charging you $25 for cleaning your suit. Are you going to pay for it? Just take it and say, oh, well, let's buy a new shirt. No, you shouldn't pay for something you didn't get what you paid for. Don't pay for it. That's what I'm talking about. Standing up for your rights for customer service. If more people would stop just taking whatever it is that they're handed and start saying, this isn't what I ordered. This isn't what I paid for. And stop giving them the money.
I just can't believe it. Like, it would be nice if we could live in that society where, you know, the customer was able to have the ability to reject poor service, or reject poor craftsmanship. Imagine that. Imagine if we were able to. Everything we doled out money for was suddenly scrutinized according to some measurement of quality or expected quality. How much of your mind just got boggled because right now you're giving a lot of money for his fucking 1-star equipment for 1-star service?
I don't accept that. I don't accept that or anywhere I shop.
But
if I don't get what I asked for, I'm not going to pay him for it.
1/3 of your fucking money that's going out right now, i.e. taxes, is going to some piece of shit making third-party purchases. He has no concern about what it is. All it is like, I have to fill this quota.
Yeah, I'm talking about what I have control of in front of me. You see what I mean? And I don't accept that. If I go in and I pay to get, let's say I pay to get my teeth cleaned, and I go in and I say, well, I've been drinking too much coffee and I want my teeth to be whiter. And I go in and they say, well, okay. And they do this and that. And I go out and I look in the mirror and I'm like, I can't tell a difference. They look exactly the same. I'm going to say, well, I want this fixed. You know, I want you to fix it because I'm not happy with it. I'm not satisfied. And if you don't, then I'm not going to pay you. And then when we have to go to court or whatever, I'm going to tell them, you know, they're crap. They're not very good at their job. Don't go to them. So, you know, what do you want? Do you want the headache of that? Or do you want to give me what I asked for? See, that type of thing. If we start asking for that and demanding the treatment for what we deserve, then they'll stop giving us a bad product. But see, when you have one company in your area that does this say internet, right? Like what happens with Tommy. This happens to Tommy a lot.
CenturyLink
pays a lot of money and he gets shitty, crappy service constantly. He might have 2 or 3 good days every month, right? That isn't fair. But as soon as another company comes in,
but it works better than.
I know, but as soon as another company comes in and starts giving service and they charge, even if they charge the same amount of money, but they go and they hook up and they have service 5 times more than what they had with the other, how many people are going to stay with this other guy? They're not. They're going to say, nah. They're going to just have their service turned off and they're going to go to the next place because they don't like the service. I mean, I don't go to a restaurant if I get treated like shit. You know what I mean? If they treat me like shit, I'm going to say, fuck you. I ain't coming here and I'm never bringing anyone here. And I'm going to tell everyone I know not to go there.
Okay, that's part of the reason why I left Central Illinois. Because the hometown that I'm from had only one internet provider for over 15 years. That's part of the reason I'm out. And major reason why I'm not going to go back. Because There's too many companies that just feel it's not worth servicing this area, this zip code, this area code, because there's too few hundred people per square mile to put your effort in to provide a quality service.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to be that dick that lives in the country with fucking lots of chickens and yard dogs, there's another part of me that's like, I want to live where I have buried internet fiber cable going to my home. So that means I need to live somewhere reasonably populated. As much as I admire you for living in the country, I can't do it. I couldn't.
Yeah, the country isn't for everyone. Just like I said, when I first moved here, especially when I found out it was a dry county, and I had to drive 48 miles just to buy wine. I almost thought this was dumb. I should never have even thought about that. You know what I mean? But other things are nice. You know, it's nice to have this.
Oh, yeah.
So I started balancing it out, and the service is shit. I have shitty, crappy cell service. But that's another thing I have to deal with. You know, do I like having the peace and serenity of knowing that I feel safer, that I can go to the store and come home and not worry about someone following me home and want to kill me in my sleep, you know, because the crime was just getting horrible. It was.
If you would lift that fucking restraining order, we might actually have some fun.
Oh yeah, whatever. But it's, I don't know. It's just, we have to start demanding what we paid for. If we start standing up and saying, I'm not taking this shit anymore, I'm not going to just take this terrible drink or this crappy meal and pay you for it. And then the next person comes in and gets the same thing. And we just stop shopping there. If you just stop going, just like the whole Bud Light thing, it worked because people stood up for what they believed. And guess what? Bud Light said, wow.
Well, that wasn't a hard sell. I mean, Bud Light sucked.
Well, the thing is,
they know that PBR.
Bud Light.
No, sir, I'd rather have the Coors Light. Give me the pure water with the wheat flavor.
But
sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're into that, you know, you want to be humiliated and degraded and pay extra, like go up to the city, hit those clubs, because that's what they do for those type of people. But if you're not a degenerate or a reprobate, you know, you have to be a self-advocate sometimes and just say no. And it's really easy. 2 letters. No. Final. There you go. Take your money.
And for those of you that are degenerates like me, you have a home here. You're good. Yeah, I've heard that before, Hardwick. I don't know how true that is. I've been to the brewery in Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis, and I was a young kid, so I didn't pay much attention to things. I was just upset that they weren't going to let me sample beer because I was under 21, of course. But I feel that Budweiser doesn't make good alcohol. Like
cheap beer night at the Catalyst. It was.
I can't remember. I can't remember whenever I got drunk. I don't even think whenever I first got drunk at age 18 in Port Isabel that I had any alcohol from Budweiser that night. I think it was all Tecate beer. And if you know what Tecate beer is, that's like a cheap version of Lone Star beer.
It's good for beans.
I don't drink beer. I don't drink.
Well, Janet, we didn't have any wine vineyards there on South.
Well, I did drink when I was in high school. I remember sneaking my mom's Coors and drinking a couple of them, but I just didn't like the taste of it. I don't know if it was because I had allergic reaction or whatever to the hops or something that was in
that was my first beer, not my first choice. It was an unattended beer, and I was 2, and I didn't know any better. But it was a tall can. It was big enough to grasp.
Yeah, I remember you telling me. Yeah.
There's still footprints underneath the linoleum of my grandparents' old home. With me walking in circles, it's awesome. You know, Gen X stories. Anyhow,
is that good beer?
This is a good brown ale if you like brown ales. It's got a little bit of a hop to it. It's more of a malt than a hop, but it's a 5.4, I think, and it's made about an hour away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I say it's made an hour away from me, no, they make it an hour away from me. I don't know where they source the hops from and the various barleys or the etc. But it's made in Blanco, Texas, which is code for white. If you've ever been to White, Texas, Blanco, Texas, this is what you are missing if you don't go there. Brewhouse Brown is a really good brown ale. It's crisp. It's not heavy. It tastes good. It'll get you fucked up if you have 3 of them in a row. It's nice. I should have.
And by next Friday, we'll have Six Nations Special Reserve.
If it's any good, are you able to mail it to me?
This here, the brown ale?
No, I don't
or
like
his?
beer. Talking to Joshua.
I can make it. I can consume it. I can't sell it, and I don't think I can transport it.
Oh, I was gonna say you don't have to sell it to me.
All that stuff.
You just
But
send me some.
I can give the recipe, and it's super easy and super ghetto.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I
Sometimes
did take a
ghetto's
swig of
good.
it because it's halfway done, and it's almost table wine status. Like a decent
Table wine's a good status. I'm going to go grab another beer before we go into the third act of our show tonight.
Well, one thing I wanted to share, I'm getting ready to share what I showed you earlier. The whole thing about that I was making fun of them at the beginning. So I just thought it was hilarious. This guy's comment about the flat earthers. That was so funny. I still laugh. This was a thing that came across my timeline, and it was the flat earth cult is not very happy today. And this was by Alex Jones. The video, sorry, I'm coughing again. It says the video we're getting is over the top amazing. Thanks, SpaceX. And it was showing this beautiful view of Earth, right? And then as people were commenting, and I was going down and I saw this one, and I thought, oh my God, I was laughing, and I shared it with everyone I knew. But it's showing, the ending of the dinosaurs, basically, from a flat planet. I just thought it was hilarious. It says, you dumb as fuck. If Earth was flat, there would be day 24/7 because of the sun hitting us nonstop. But thanks to Earth's rotation of actually being round, there is night and day. So I still laugh at this. I just think it's hilarious because I wish I was smart enough to make something like this and post it when I see dumbass people making dumbass remarks. I just thought it was funny. But the whole thing about
what if the rest of the stars and the planets and the moons are all flat?
But see, that's one thing I asked somebody one time, and they just looked at me like that was the dumbest question I could have ever asked. I was like, okay, you know how we have total eclipses, right? And when you see a total eclipse, it's a circle, half circle going across the front of the other obstacle, whether it's our planet or the sun, right? And you see a half moon, and then slowly it covers the whole thing. Okay. But if it was the sun was like flat, it would be a thin line going across, you know what I mean? Because it would turn sideways or whatever. And they just said they don't turn. So I said, so we're like in the 2 dimensions or something like that. And they just looked at me like I was an idiot. But to me, wouldn't that be possible? If it's actually flat and the Earth shadow was on the sun, wouldn't it be a disc going across and not from that angle every time? How come it's always at this angle if it's flat? See, that's what I was trying to get them to explain to me, but they couldn't answer me. They didn't say anything. They said it was a dumb question.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious. I laugh every time I see it because it's common sense. It's like I said, having common sense is like a superpower today. very few people have it. It just doesn't exist in a lot of people. There is no such thing. It's got
Janet, did you see the movie trailers that dropped this week?
no.
Did you see the new Superman trailer that showed Crypto being more crypto than what?
With his dog?
The dog.
Yes, I saw that one.
Okay, you saw the part where he whistled for the dog and the dog starts like jumping on him after Superman's already broken. He's fallen to earth. And Crypto's jumping on him and putting his ribs to the test with his
and
paw.
he's bleeding. He's bleeding and everything too.
Yeah. I howled like a devil. I fucking howled like a monkey.
Because that's what a dog would do.
That especially what Crypto would do, because Crypto was not a friendly fucking mutt in the comics. The comics my uncle left me. Crypto was an asshole, and I'm upset that it's James Gunn, but I've made the decision to find this movie on the high seas when it comes out because I don't like James Gunn. I want to. He wrote a book I want to read back when he was like 25 about a guy that was a collector of toys. I'm like, I get you. I get this. And then the allegations came out against him for being like a creep.
Yeah.
And I can't support him. But I want to see this movie so bad because it looks like a return to the lore that I grew up with. That wasn't mine. It was a generation before mine that had this lore. And Crypto was he's not really a good boy. He's a good dog. Yes, he's a dick of a good dog. And that's what Crypto was in the comics that I remember.
But he was only a dick because he didn't realize how powerful he was.
That's part of it.
He's a dog.
Part of it. He's a dog.
And he's loyal to his master.
Yes.
Okay. So everything that you'd
this.
want in a dog. He can't help that he's super powerful. See? I don't look at it the same way you're looking at it.
I need to see this movie just for the fact that, like, if they get really close, I didn't read Justice League. That's far beyond the point where I put down the comics. Okay, that's way beyond the point. I don't think I read a DC comic book after I put down Star Trek in 1988.
Why?
So,
if Caesar Milan was a Kryptonian,
yeah,
there might be a chance.
So I just want to see it. It looks really good. I laughed far too much. I don't laugh with movie trailers. The other movie trailer I saw this week was the new one for Naked Gun, where
I didn't see it.
It shows Liam Neeson kneeling by his Frank Drebin picture. Dad, I love you. I miss you, Dad. And then it has the other guy, the schlep, who's George Kennedy, who's his father. Then it shows all the cops kneeling at pictures of their daddies crying. And the one black kid is looking at the O.J. Simpson picture, and he's like, nah, I ain't going to fucking cry for this motherfucker. Fuck him. Fucking great. Fucking great. Oh.
Well, I'm happy that you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to go see it, I'm sure.
I'm going to go pay for that. I'll pay for Naked Gun. I won't pay for fucking Justice or Superman because it's James Gunn. You know, dude, you told us to fuck off whenever you had the Geeks and Gamers people on, even though it was Uchi, the most milquetoast G&G guy there ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give a shit about him. I'm sorry if people get offended. I'm sorry he died because maybe he could have repented and become a true asshole like the rest of us. But he seemed like a fucking milquetoast piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that about him when he was alive. Nothing's changed. But fucking this new movie for the Naked Gun looks so fucking good. Oh, my bad, Hardwick, Zack Snyder, James Gunn. I wish I didn't get those two confused. If those two guys weren't fucking creeps in their own special way, it wouldn't happen like that. Like, one of them needs to just, like, pick up a Bible. Then I'll be able to figure the two apart. Did I say that aloud? Got it. Bruce, you're being a dickhead. Yeah, I know. Zack Snyder. Yeah, Zack Snyder is James Gunn. They're both complete douchebags. And I have no regret over the fact I'm going to see it on fucking high seas.
Well, guess what? I hate to say this, but I don't care if they're a douchebag or not, if they can make good entertainment.
You know, there's certain
Guess
people.
what? Guess what? I gotta say this. A lot of people might meet Bruce and think, "Oh my God, he's the biggest dick I ever met in my life. You know, he's an asshole. He didn't have
You're okay
anything
to say
nice
that.
to say."
You're okay to think that.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that they say that, and then they tell other people, and then nobody wants to buy any of your products.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. What I'm saying is they have the right to do that, but a person like me, I can look at the product and say, "Wow, this is amazing. I really want this. I love this one. I love that. I'm going to buy them." Even though my friend said that's the biggest douchebag asshole in the world, I can look past the douchebagness because I like what I'm going to have sitting in my house.
There's certain parts where I can go, I love the art more than the artist, and I will go for buying the art. Yes, there are certain things I can definitely say where no matter how the people are, I'm going to buy that product because I believe I can make that product something special by putting it in my home completely. And I'm going to show you.
And the reason why is, okay, remember that picture I made of the rhinestone art picture I made, and it had some of the heroes and then the villains in it?
Yeah.
And I put it in the shadow box and I put their characters in front. Remember that? I didn't care when I was making that for a small child, okay, an 8-year-old, when I had to make the Deadpool because I couldn't afford to buy it because it was way too expensive. It was $200 for a little 3-inch character to go in front of the Deadpool. And then I needed an Ultron. I couldn't afford an Ultron. They were like $200 and something. So I could have charged that much money for it, but that would have been $1,000 for this picture for a kid. So I was doing everything I could to make it reasonable price. But guess what? You're not going to find another one. There's not another one anywhere that you can buy that looks like that. And the shadow box with the characters in front of it. But the thing is, I made a work of art and I didn't care who made each of those little characters. I was thinking about the overall thing when I was going to finish after making the rhinestone art and be able to put those characters in a shadow box with the pictures of the characters that I made. See? So I am glad the child that liked that and the parents didn't say who made this and who did that with all the other things. Because if they would have, I'm sure they would have found something they didn't like about it. And I'm glad they didn't care. All they cared about was when their kids saw it and went, "Oh," and they loved it. Okay, that's all that mattered. And that's what I hope that most people would do. Try to get enjoyment from whatever it is they're buying, the product, and look past whatever douchebag might have made it and that they're going to make money off it. Because if it brings you joy, then it's worth the money you spend on it.
Hey, Janet, you want to throw me the screen real quick?
Oh, sure. Here we go.
All right. So you guys know I like to paint miniatures, right? I have a whole desk full of unpainted ones, partially painted ones. And in about another week, I'm going to order.
It makes you happy, right?
No, it doesn't at all. It actually just gives me purpose. Making me happy is something completely different. Getting one completed is fine. But having this core set will be 100 new minis. This is about 30 minis. This is another 30 minis. This is 30 new Fae minis. Fae minis, like gnomes, fairies, fucking red caps and shit. More dungeon monsters and Egyptian themed stuff. So I'm going to order one of every of these because I fucking need it. Like, just for the fact that I seriously am running low on miniatures to paint, and I'm getting just today. I don't know if you can see this or not. Go ahead and let me kill that. Okay. So this right here, these figures that are here, I only had 2 of 3 of them in here at the start of the day. Okay. And now we're at a point where there's like 7 of them that have been added within the last few hours. So Bruce is finally getting around to taking care of the desk. I don't know what you guys like to do as a hobby. Get a hobby. It doesn't have to be something you love, but it has to be something that you fucking do well, or you're enjoying it in the process of getting better. So I recommend whatever you got going on. If you want to become a more complete version of yourself, get a hobby. I know that sounds like such a first world sort of thing, but seriously, if you don't, you're going to burn your candle at both ends. You're not going to have anything to show for your age. Do something.
Everyone has something to show for their age.
No, they don't, Janet.
I got a lot of gray hair.
Having gray hair does not help you.
But I have various hobbies.
Does it hurt your grandparents when you look at them? Does it make you love them less because they have gray hair?
My grandfather didn't really consider it a complete day until he went in the garage and fucked with the car. My dad didn't consider it to be a good week unless he had something that he was working on in the basement with the wood shop. And later he bought the service station next to us to put all of the woodworking equipment in the wood shop. And that became an industrial-sized hobby wood shop, which my father now uses as just a storage because my dad, God bless him, he's a hoarder. And the day that my dad turns room temperature, I'm going to go nuts with all the shit that I got to figure out how to sell in a legacy estate sale.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna suck. The trailers for the new Fantastic Four movie leaned into that 1960s Silver Age style too, but unfortunately, that's one. That one's gonna have a female Silver Surfer. That's where I'm really not into it. I need a male Silver Surfer, just like the one that was made in 2006 that was really bad.
I love that movie.
Really?
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
I loved all of the that group of Fantastic Four characters. I love both those movies.
I'm going to tell you something that nobody really ever agrees with me with. I like the 1986 Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. I think that's a fun.
That was a great movie.
That one.
That's a fun, stupid movie with Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh boy, guess what's going on the list, Janet?
Well, then you have to put the other one on too because I like that one.
Wait, when you say the other one, you're talking about the one with Thomas Zane, Thomas Jane, or the one with
Thomas Jane?
Okay, thank you.
Because that's the one I've seen, and I thought it was great.
I didn't quite like Travolta in it, but
yeah, he was the weak link in that movie.
And is Face Off back on the list?
Yes.
Okay, because I have that one. We can watch it.
That makes two of us.
Okay, because I have that. I have a bunch of them. I can't wait to type up my list so far that I've already got done. A whole notebook of movies. And another one I want to put on there is The 13th Warrior.
Already on there.
That's a great.
Okay. I love that
anachronistic movie.
Mm-hmm.
I almost missed it in the theater. They did the name change because originally it was named after the book Eaters of the Dead. I'm like, oh my God, I just got done reading and they got this movie coming out this summer. And then they changed the name and I almost missed it. But then I got it last minute and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Well, I am starting to get really tired because I've been up since 3:30 this morning and my ear is ringing. Hopefully it's better by tomorrow because I don't know how long it takes for you to, recover from
Depends
that.
on how loud it is and how close proximity you shot your gun towards whatever wall reverberated it back into your ear.
Like this in front of me. And then there was a sloping wall there in the back part of the coop there. But yeah, it was pretty shitty. And everybody's getting on to me saying you should have had headphones. Well, who's thinking of headphones when you're running out
at 3 in the morning when you got your fucking chicken panicking?
On your
I'm
rifle.
half naked and it's pouring down rain, and the raccoon was as big as a Cocker Spaniel. It was huge, and he was eating one of my chickens' heads off. I was not thinking about putting earplugs in.
You were using your AR?
Do what?
I'm assuming.
No, I used my
AR?
9mm pistol. I just grabbed it out of the drawer and
I was
ran
gonna
out
say,
there.
if you were using your rifle, just take some Air Pro, either the squishies or the connected ones with the little rubber line. Put it in the case, tape it to the stock.
Yeah. I wish I'd thought about it, but I will next time. Hopefully I've learned my lesson. I won't do that again.
Otherwise, if you're doing yard work,
my daughter and said, "Bring me some headphones."
I'll be right back.
I didn't.
if you got like a belt that you holster your gun in when you're doing yard work and whatnot, all homesteady, just keep a little container or
Well, see, I
pouch
have
with
a
your Air Pro in
shovel.
it.
I have a really nice spade, a pointed spade, a good heavy one. It's out behind my coop with a metal rake too, because normally that's what I have is snakes. I don't have anything else because it was a closed coop. That's why I was shocked when I opened the door and I went, "What the fuck?" You know, because it must have, the raccoon must have went in right before the little
Raccoons are like
door
ninjas. They just
shut by itself.
find a way to, yeah.
Because I went around the whole coop. There's no way it could have got in. That was the only way it could have got in. There's no holes in the coop at all, except for the one I shot through the
Better
floor.
way to use your gun too. 'Cause they'll tear a person apart. Don't underestimate the raccoons. You can brain a snake with a spade.
Oh,
or
I
shovel.
know. My sister had 2 pet
They're long.
raccoons, and as they got bigger, I mean, they were so strong and they were so mean. And all I could think of when I first saw it, all I saw was its big giant hands, because once it ran under there, I put a rake on the under the bottom because it was a 6-inch gap between the wood on both sides, and then it had the 4-inch gap, and it was 6 inches long, and it went down in that crack, and it was down in there. So I stuck a big bamboo pole, one of the perches that I put in there, and a big long metal tray that I put food in. I crammed it in the top, and then I had that metal spiky rake, a real heavy one, underneath. So it was trapped, and I saw its little hands coming up trying to figure out how to get out. And that's when I took my gun and I stuck it right down in that slot where in the middle where its 2 hands were coming out, and shot. And then bam, my ear just went. It was really scary.
God.
And then I had to sit out
Yeah.
there and leave the door open to see it come out, because and it waddled out, and I pulled my gun out to shoot, and I realized I'm shooting towards because I'm on the top of a hill, and just a little bit over is another house. I was like, well, I don't want to risk shooting their dogs that are chained up outside or whatever. So I just didn't risk it. I just said, I'll put a trap out there. But I had taken a whole trash can that had a 30-pound bag of feed in it and dragged it up into the coop, and then put a piece of wood in front of the door to go back into the run, and put that thing there. So if the raccoon did get out, when it finally came out, it wouldn't be able to go back in there and start killing more chickens. It would have to go out the back door of the coop.
You should
And
be
that's
proud
why
of me, Janet.
I was just sitting there waiting for it to come out. And once it did, I was able to shut the coop door. What'd you do?
I just decided not to fucking order some Whataburger chicken boneless wings or chicken tenders, whatever you call them, because
Of my poor chicken.
not as much as I want chicken right now really bad, but we've got some stuff on the stove
Mm-hmm.
that's from the leftovers shelf in the fridge, and I could
Good.
eat on that.
You should eat leftovers. That's one thing that people should do, is make something else out of it. And
I'm
eat it.
gonna throw about a third of a pound of ham into it and reheat it.
Like, Thanksgiving dinner that I had in the fridge, the leftover spiral ham, and
I
and
steal
made
your
soup.
thunder. God, can you hear it? Every so often?
I know, Grumpy. The boneless chicken from Whataburger is like vatted chicken. It's not real chicken with like grass fed. No, it's vat chicken. If you can handle vat chicken, it's okay. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, I don't want to eat that.
Transmetropolitan.
Surrounded by storms still. Oh, it's been going on all day.
You were
today.
kind of fucked.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible.
I'm looking at. Yeah, you are really screwed.
You guys keep hearing that big thunder claps and stuff like that going on?
It's like the giant ass cheeks of Nancy Pelosi after she gets out of the office.
It's like slam, slam, slam. Not her ass cheeks though, because she's got huge hips.
No, let's not go there.
I'm looking where Janet's at right now, and it's bad.
Yeah,
Are you getting subliminal messages or a voice in your head to tell you to build a boat?
Well, my ear is like, I can't hardly hear out of it. It's like muffly, really muffly sounding. So if I keep leaning this way, it's because I'm trying to hear better. Because this side I can't hardly hear out of at all.
Well, we are under severe thunderstorm watch till 5 a.m. and with the oncoming storms, I can see it.
But so do either one of you guys have anything planned for the weekend? And
Tomorrow's game.
Yeah, tomorrow's game, because we've been going at almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Oh, later today's game for those of you that are critical.
And then
12 hours from now.
And then Sunday we are going to be reviewing the movie The Night of the Lepus.
Looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah.
Very much looking forward to that
I should
movie.
buy a box of tricks so I can eat that and watch Killer Rabbits. Yeah.
I think everybody should watch Killer Rabbits. Killer Rabbits are awesome.
As big as houses. No, they're not that big, but they're pretty big.
And if they're like those German engineered ones where they're like 20, 30 pounds, like, good God, I would be afraid of those things.
Yeah, they're scary.
Like 3 foot tall when they stand. Probably tastes good though.
Yeah, they get one rabbit can feed a whole town. But would you want to eat a rabbit if you found it was a cannibal or is eating humans?
I've ate hot dogs, so I don't know.
Yeah, I had a hot dog.
Might not be that
good. But I want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. I guess we got 76 people watching us right now on X or Rumble and YouTube. And I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you, but why is going through my head?
I guess
But
a
that's
lot
just
of people
me.
said
Like,
they
why
thought
the
the
hell
show
would you
was
invite
good.
me into your program?
That it was pretty. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it can get a little hectic depending on the topic, because sometimes the topic can get people really riled up, if you know what I'm saying. So it just depends.
It
But
got kind of interesting there a little bit ago. I'm just going to say that.
it is interesting depending on what the topic is. And I don't like to talk about the same thing everyone is, because everybody kept saying, "You going to make a special video just for Val Kilmer?" And I said, "No, there's already like thousands of them up right now." And I made a simple little one with some pictures. And I said, that he'll be missed. And that was enough. That was my tribute.
You got our buddy Vinny Tartamella, and you got Words of Paradise making videos about Russell Brand and Van Damme.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to echo that, do we? Do we need to fucking repeat this shit all the time to people?
I thought my flat Earth thing was funnier.
I think flat Earth is something that we need to focus on for at least 30 seconds.
Yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. I just really loved that video. That was just a comment. Yeah, that's good. So, but I'm gonna say thank you to everybody that came to hang out with us. And go ahead.
No, I just want to say, like, I haven't seen him do anything since, like, I want to say 2009 or something. He's had a hell of a life after that with health issues and stuff. And then to hear that he passed away from pneumnia, that just sucks balls. But
yeah, but did you read?
He's left a legacy of movies. What was that?
Did you hear what his family said about him? That he had been bedridden pretty much for over a year.
Yeah, I believe that.
I can see why he would get pneumonia, because when you're not able to get around and stuff like that anymore, that's just one of the things that can happen to you. So it's really sad. But the fact that he did change, he helped so many people get through times in their life by just being a good actor and a caring person. And he was entertaining, and that's what he did. He lived to entertain us. And I think he did a phenomenal job at it. He had lovable characters, but my favorite one will always be from Tombstone. That's my favorite one.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Tombstone,
I think that's great.
Top Gun, Real Genius.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Mardigan from Willow.
Yeah, Mad Mardigan's my second favorite. Those are my top two that he did.
I still have to say that I prefer him in Heat. As much as he was a great leading man in other films, I think he always helped a movie out by being a supporting actor, like in Top Gun, in either Top Gun movie. But I think he was the best physical acting he ever did, and his character lived.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we need to focus on. Like, if you're missing Val Kilmer right now, just understand his character lived at the end of Heat. Nobody else did. He lived. And it sucks that what happened to him happened, but the guy's been limped out of circulation since 2014. He got ran off of the stage by his illness. He was doing a Mark Twain series of plays all across the nation, and had to retire to a hospital. And then they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna die. You've got throat cancer." And that was it. He made one film in where he did Top Gun Maverick that wasn't released till 23, 24.
Yeah, and his son.
His son did the movie Val for him.
Yeah.
His son narrated the movie Val, and he sounds just like his daddy. He really does.
Yeah. So, but his son is the one who voiced his speaking part in Top Gun.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
The new one that they just came out.
Yeah.
He did it. Maverick. Yeah.
I think that's awesome, and I think that the fact that his son is talented as he is, hopefully he does take up his dad's old roles. He does take up his dad,
like Kurt Russell's son is doing,
like Wyatt Russell. Fuck yeah! Did you ever see the movie Overlord, Janet?
I loved it.
I'm not going to ever review it because I don't like JJ so much, and the movie.
You're missing out, then.
No. I've seen the movie 3 times.
Okay.
I went to the theaters to watch it the first time, and I was like, it could have gone a little harder. It could have gone a little further. JJ Abrams can't stick a landing if you Velcro it and you put him, you wrap him in shag.
I've always said, I look at the writers and I look at the editing, the actors, the costumes, the scene building, all the different aspects of a movie, because it takes all them to make the director look good. And if they can look good, even though the director sucks, that just shows you he had a kick-ass crew.
Yeah, the makeup looked good, the acting was good.
To be told that.
I don't like the script because, no offense, in 1940, there would not be a black SOF kid on the plane. I'm sorry, he would be either a cook or a food service attendant or a supply. He would be haircutting. That would be it. That would be all the guy would be able to do. We're going to get accurate on this shit. Because if we're going to say it's 1940s, sorry, dude, you're being demoted socially. No offense to you. This is where you were at. This is where you're staying until the 1960s. TS. And the thing is that movie has so many things I like about it, but it has like a handful of shit that I can't fucking overlook. And if you want to know a real quick rating, it'd be 60%. That movie could have been so awesome. For me, it just doesn't.
Well, yeah, I try not to think about that kind of stuff. That's why
I wasn't thinking about it, but I had to watch it.
I know, but what I'm saying is I try not to dig into anything, and because I can find a lot of bad things if I want to, you know what I'm saying? So I try not to. I want to see the movie with a clear conscience and be able to just see the movie for what it is, and then we can add the other aspects afterward. But I don't like to ruin my view of it because other people work their ass off to make that movie, not just the director. So that's how I look at it. That's how I see it.
Hardwick, they weren't integrated at all. They were in their own. They if they were integrated, they were in literally a servant role. Like we had Navy sailors back in the day, and I believe not Midway. There was some really crappy World War II film where it showed like Cuba Gooding Jr. take up a submachine gun and he shoots down 2 planes, and I believe that literally happened. He wasn't on fixed artillery. He was usually using small arms to down kamikazes, and that actually happened. But I don't feel that they would have had him as part of the SOF group. And I would like to think that, you know, I value the art more than the artist. There's a lot of times where I want to go that way, but then I find out who's in this, who's part of this. Oof. No. And exactly, Grumpy. It was Pearl Harbor. Horrible fucking movie. We're not watching that, Janet.
That was the best chick
I don't
flick
think I've
ever.
seen
What are you
it.
talking about?
Who was in that movie? Wasn't the girl from Underworld in it?
I think so.
See, I haven't seen Pearl Harbor.
It's like it sells you on the battle scenes. There's 7 minutes of it in the movie. Everything else is love story.
Oh.
Love story. Do you want to watch a love story, Janet?
Like Lars and the Real Girl?
Not even that good of a love story.
Did you hear that?
Ugh.
Oh. But yeah, I gotta go to bed, you guys. I'm really tired, and I need to take something from my ear because it's hurting.
Hardwick's got the facts there. The man who made the machine gun was named Doris Miller. He was a mess attendant, 2nd class. He was a cook's FSA, food service attendant.
Yeah, I heard that. I think I read about that story.
Yeah, I don't. He just fucking saw an opportunity for himself to fucking defend the ship he was on and not die. God bless him. Roland Emmerich did make a good Midway movie. It sticks close to the facts. It's kind of long. It's kind of bloated. It's Roland Emmerich, but it's probably the best film he's ever done. That actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, Midway is the best movie that Roland Emmerich ever did. And Roland Emmerich made Universal Soldier, which is on my top 20 list of bad movies I love to rewatch. Janet, you want to get out of here?
Do you hear it now? Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty loud. It's like I'm getting a nice, good storm again right now. I mean, that's a long
down
one.
the hatches.
Yeah, but yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone again, and I appreciate you hanging out with us. There's 80 people watching right now. That's amazing. But I would say thank you to them, and I hope we entertained you at least for a little while, got you to think about some things in your own lives, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend again. So I'll talk to you guys later.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.